Go ahead with the
Just before I would like to give the recap of the studies program. Our
Ma'am, you are not audible.
now I am audible. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, yes.
Sorry. A very good morning to all the guests and also delegates here. I welcome you to the second day of the three-day national conference on Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, supported by ICSSR Hyderabad, Southern Region Center. Yesterday we had an inaugural session at 9:30, started with a prayer song, and later it was welcomed by our principal, Dr. Sister Jacinta Quadris, and theme was explained by the convener. And later we have 4 sessions. Are there 4 eminent resource persons expressed and shared their knowledge about the theme. The first session we have Professor K. Nageshwar Garu, is a professor from Osmania University and political analyst. As India is not completely recovered from the pandemic, reduce this. Make it 0. Make it 0. If you put 100, thank you. The growth rate with the special equity is needed. The depreciation of rupee value in the pandemic is adversely affected the manufacturing sector. India's trend in global market is important. And Sir also explained about the India's growth is not with the supply side, but with the demand side, and which should be strengthened, particularly in this juncture. At this level, India is needed economic model which increases employment opportunities, income level, and demographic dividend. And Sir also mentioned about the need for the invest on young people and the need to enhance the public expenditure. Then there should be a revoke of the policy in public finance so that the economy can reach into the $5 trillion. Then the second session was taken by Professor C.S.N. Raju, Emeritus retired professor and professor from Acharya Nagarjuna University retired. And SAR topic is Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, a theoretical perspective. And SAR explained about the macro level model, and he mentioned about the paradigm shift in the production and distribution is important. Though the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath is concentrating on Make in India, Made for India, Vocal for Local, Make India, SAR explained the crowding out effect, and he explained about the loanable fund theory, which must increase the public expenditure and liquid adjustments. And he related the concept to the Keynesian economics, how the income, employment, and interest are affected. And Sir also explained about ISLM model. And later, the afternoon session, it was taken over by Dr. Banu Prakash, and Sir was dealing about marching towards $5 trillion economy. And he explained about the savings and investment in India, and he stressed the importance of rebooting in infrastructure and importance of finance. And also he mentioned about the relevance of macro matrix in this model at the fourth phase of the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharat. And he mentioned that finance is the lifeline of micro and small industries, and he gave an importance to fiscal deficit, which is very important. And he mentioned that IMF is in an optimistic view, where by 2025, with this optimistic view, the economy can reach into $5 trillion. And the last session was taken by Dr. Nagasundari, Director and Head Department of MBA from Stella College. She explained about the creating an Aaatma Nirbhar ecosystem. Madam stressed on the supply chain management, PLI scheme, and also indigenization of the products. And later in the session, the whole day, we have 3 paper presentations. The first one was presented by Mahendra from 3rd BTech student of VIT Amaravati. And the later 2 presentations are the faculty from Zoology Department, Dr. Nitya Jeevaprada, Head Zoology Department, explained about the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath and allied agricultural activity, especially poultry. And later the presentation was taken by Dr. Bharta Jyoti. She also concentrated on the allied agricultural activity, fisheries, and its impact of Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, how they can also revive poultry and fisheries so that the agricultural sector can be increased. This is the brief review of yesterday's sessions. And today we will start our session, and I welcome Rohit Rajvanshi ji from So I welcome Dr. G. Malati. Rohit sir, maybe you will remember her. She is also with us in Ahmedabad. So I requested her to introduce you. So I will call Dr. Malati from MBA Department of Maristella College to introduce our chief guest today to the gathering. Thank you.
A very good morning and hearty welcome to one and all. I am happy to introduce Rohit Rajvanshi, the resource person for 3-day national conference on towards Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, the realization of a $5 trillion economy. Mr. Rohit Rajvanshi is working as an associate professor in the Department of Management, Dayalbagh Educational Institute from 2011 to till date. He completed MBA in Information Systems and Marketing and BCA in graduation level. He completed MPhil from Dayalbagh Educational Institute in the year 2011. He was awarded PhD in the year 2015 from Dayalbagh Educational Institute and qualified UGC NET in the year 2012. He is a member of Institute's internal committees like AICTE, UGC, NAC, and NIRF. He wrote a book titled Management of Next Generation Telecom Services in an Emerging Market in the year 2012. He is supervising 4 doctoral scholars and guided more than 200 PG and UG students. Sir has a good expertise in rural area-based procurement activities and analytical assessment to strengthen the supply chain effectiveness and expanding the business from scratch. He published 11 research papers in reputed journals and attended various conferences and seminars. Sir, we are happy to have you as a speaker for this national conference. We extend a hearty welcome to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I hope I am audible to all of you loud and clear.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Thank you, Malati, for introducing. Sir, Rohit, sir, it's over to you. You
Yeah.
can take the session. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So, I've been listening to some of the presentations yesterday as well, and I would like to begin first of all thanking the patron, chief patron, and convener, ma'am, and thank you for such a nice introduction that you have given to me. So now coming straight to the presentation, before I share my screen, I would just like to add few things that giving the perspective of my presentation to all the audience members who are connected directly or indirectly through YouTube channels as well, is that Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath towards 5 trillion economy, find that absolutely is a very need of an hour. But the presentation that I'm giving is uh, not about achieving the 5 trillion economy when. So it is about achieving of 5 trillion economy, but let's keep it some not in a time frame because and why I'm saying this that I'll explain it to you during my presentation. So, and I could see that some of the presentations that as Josephine ma'am introduced that was about the agriculture thing. So mine is also about the agriculture, but I'll give you the more macro level perspective and not just agriculture, but something more than that. So now I'd like to begin by sharing my screen to you. So is it the screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so now coming to the topic, that's my topic is combination of, is my second screen is also visible? So I hope this flipping to this slide is not a visible issue. So all of you can see the second slide as well that talks about combination of agriculture, startups and innovation and sustainability will lead us to Aaatma Nirbhar Bharat. So my screen, second screen is also visible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible.
So now I'll continue my presentation. My presentation is not just only about agriculture. It is actually what I feel is the agriculture, startups, innovation, sustainability. These are the four parameters. Industry specific, if I talk, is agriculture that is very encouraging, very large, very comprehensive, very scalable industry perspective. These days, the talk is about the startups. So, startup is very important aspect. Innovation, again, very important, and sustainability. So, combination of all these four factors will lead us to Atmanirbhar. And how I will go through my presentation is I will be talking something about agriculture, its importance, then startups, then innovation, then sustainability. Then I would like to converge all this for the synergy effect towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So let's come to the first part. Overview, as I told you, is about contribution of agriculture in Indian economy, followed by the startup contribution in the Indian economy. How we have listened so much about, come across so much about startup. So how startups are doing in last 5 years. And then since this is about agriculture, so I would like to specifically talk about agro-based startups, how well they are doing. Then moving on to innovation, then the scope of role of innovation in agriculture, and lastly talking about the sustainability when we combine agri or rather agro-based startup with the help of innovation, and if you are not able to sustain it, then it is useless. So I'll talk about sustainability, and the last would be road ahead. So I'm sure we all are aware about the importance of the agriculture in the Indian economy, but some of the salient points I would like to mention very quickly is that it contributes significantly, somewhere around 18 to 20% in the country's GDP. It is we Indians, we as India in terms of land, we have second largest arable land resources in the world. Out of 20 agriculture climatic seasons that is required. 15 major climates exist in India, so that supports the agriculture produce, and also that supports that if globally 20 climatic conditions are required, 15 is supported by Indian region. So I think we should be contributing significantly in not only in the world, India's demand, but also the world demand as well, since we have the second largest arable land available to us. Next is 46 out of 60 soil types we have in India. So again, supporting this reason that we should not only be capable of sufficing meeting the own country's demand, but also we should be producer and distributor and supplier to global markets as well when it comes to agriculture. But all these were important points, but some of the not so encouraging point is that though we are able to sustain ourselves in terms of agriculture production, but the constraints that we face is the resources utilization, rather misutilization of resources, and the low farmer productivity that we have. Now, why I say not use utilization of resources and low farm productivity, I have my reasons that I'll support in the coming slide. Next is that it employs around half of the country's workforce. Now, let's say workforce, human workforce, 50% of the workforce is involved in agriculture related activity. So, are we able to produce in that proportion? The answer is no. So, hence, we conclude that productivity is low. We use maximum portion of fresh water in agriculture. So, are we able to produce in that proportion? The answer is not so encouraging. So, that's why it is low productivity. And some of the reasons why, though we are the big in numbers, the agriculture produce is so big, so huge. We are world leading or second producers of so many goods, so many agriculture crops. But are we utilizing? Are we producing in the proportion of the utilization resources? The answer is not positive. So low, why? Because of the low farm efficiency, and mainly the small farmers are unorganized. We have in the coming slide, I'll give you the breakup of the farmers and how the small scale farmers or farmers of very small and marginalized farmers, which are having less than 1 hectare of land, that is, I mean, contributing somewhere around 80% of the total farmers. And so they are unorganized. So that's where the uh, productivity is slipping, productivity is leaking from that area. So that's the importance of agriculture. Some of the challenges that we have, as I told you, that low productivity because of the workforce that we have. So we really need to work on employee, or not saying employees, since this is an unorganized, mainly unorganized workforce is there. Workforce rationalization is very important. Financial services, now financial service though in the form of insurance, in the form of subsidies, or in the form of seeds, and some of the supports that support services, financial service provided by the government and other regulatory bodies and some private institution that is not reaching to the bottom of the pyramid. Supply chain is a big issue because we have lot many intermediaries. The farmer is not able to realize the yield, the value of the yield that he's providing, again because of too many members involved in the supply chain. So we really need to cut down or reduce the number of intermediaries in the supply chain. How we are going to do that? That's the challenge. Market linkage, again, the point is again emphasized that the farmer is not able to realize the money, the value of his produce. So mainly that is because of some of the linkages not directly reaching up to the market. Next is the digital infrastructure. Today, I mean, it's the information age. So if the farmers are not well connected, digital connectivity is not there. That comes from the digital infrastructure. Again, but that's a big challenge. The land degradation. I mean, we are using pesticides, so eventually that is affecting the overall produce of the land. That's very important thing. Volatility in input prices. The resources that are available to the farmers, that is having very not coming at uniform prices. The prices are very fluctuating, volatile in nature. Limited access to technology, again supported through digital infrastructure, uneven quality and lack of large scale testing. These days, we are very much focusing on the soil testing so that farmers are able to understand the use of pesticide and the kind of crop they should be producing. So, but that is supported by the large-scale testing, which is at the ground level. It's very uneven in terms of quality, and large-scale testing is not up to not available in too many regions. Inefficient post-harvest supply chain, that's well explained in the previous slide, that how supply chain is affecting the overall produce availability and generating the value of the produce. And last, no, not last, there can be many more challenges, but for the sake of this presentation, the last challenge that I have kept is awareness and training. So why I have kept this as awareness and training is that because farmers they require a lot of information that's available there. But the next generation of farmers to face the global farming standards, the global farming produce, they should be well trained. They should be aware of the strengths and the weaknesses. They should be aware of the technology. They should be aware of the techniques and other innovative practices. So, are these awareness materials or services provided to the farmer, is it reaching to the bottom of the pyramid? Is it reaching to the 80% of the farmers who are mainly unorganized in nature? So that's where the challenge lies. So now moving on to the next slide. uh, in the previous slide, I established the importance of agriculture in this, how how it is so important and how it can contribute significantly in 5 trillion economy. Is that because of its resources that we are utilizing, and right now we are agriculture-based economy where 18 to 20% is through agriculture produce. So if we are half of the resources is being utilized by the agriculture and the produce or contribution is 20%, so I think the productivity is less. So first, and through the first part, that is agriculture, I've tried to explain this fact that agriculture still has lot of potential. Though we think that we are self-sufficient, we are able to provide some of the agriculture produce for our market itself is a very big market. But if we are certain factors, I would like to re-emphasize that if we are huge land, if we are utilizing that much resources, so I think we should not only think about India as a market, we should also think about some of the global countries as our markets as well. So these days we are listening about the news of supply of food grains to some of the different parts of the region, that is helping us diplomatically as well as economically. So I think in agriculture there's a lot to be delivered, lot more potential to be realized. So now next is the startup. The first dimension was agriculture. Now talking about how startup is contributing in the economy is that till yesterday, as on 24th May, more than 70,000 startups, as per the DPIIT portal, is there, right? We have produced, or rather introduced, the startups have introduced more than 4.7 lakh jobs. Now, this is not as per 24th May, but this is as per 2021. We have generated, or rather, startups have generated 53,226 orders and 2,279 crores by the year 2020. Now, as we all know, startups, and some of you will very well come up with this point that most of the startup fails. So it's very important here to tell to the audience that what are the different stages of startup and these 70,000 startups, where they fall in that stage. The first stage is ideation of the startup, which mainly deals with the conveying of the idea that what they are going to give, what that startup is going to deliver. Second is the that product that they have come up in the stage of ideation is now there. It's available. What is the minimum value that will be generated by the ideation or the at the first stage? Next is early traction. Early traction, where the first wave users are there. What you call them in the line of innovation adoption is the early adopters. So whatever ideation and validation the product was available for that, there are first wave of users, first early adopters of that service or the product is there. And lastly, scaling, that the organization or the startup is now stable and it is generating profit. So now out of 70,000, as you can see that 17,000 plus are at the initial stage. Very promising figure that 22,000 have come up with the minimum value of the product. That is, the product is now available. Again, very encouraging that for 22,000 starters, more than 22,000 starters, the early users are there. And out of 70,000 startups, 7,000 plus are in a profitable condition. So that's what you can say in terms of 70,000. If you compare 7,800, so it is roughly 10%. So I remember a few years back, I had given some presentation at some place where I quoted that 2% of the startups are successful, remaining 98% are failure. So now if you take the base figure as 70,000 plus, so now the scaling stage 7,800, which is definitely more than 2%, if not 10%. And how it is contributing in the economy is quoted by this economic survey by Livement, is that as of 14 January, India had 83 unicorns with a total valuation of $277 billion, according to the survey. And most of these unicorns are in the service sector, which contributes over 50% to India's GDP. So we, again, as I tried to emphasize the fact that agriculture is very promising, similarly, I want to emphasize that startup is contributing significantly, and also would like to emphasize that most of the startups are in service sectors, which my next slide is going to discuss. So there's a pie chart of the startup progression. As we can see that the validation stage 32% and the scaling stage is 11%. So though 11% is not a big number, but yes, we should be hopeful, and the figures are encouraging that we are marching in the right direction as far as startups are concerned. What are some of the drivers? How regulatory bodies have been helping in encouraging more and more startups, the simplification and the handholding of the procedures that they have come up with. In fact, this data that I've collected is mainly from the Startup Government India website, official website. Regulatory bodies have really encouraged the industry, academia, partnership and incubation. So many institutes, higher education institutes are running the incubation centers. So that's really helping them, and funding support activities. These are some of the drivers that is helping the startup to travel through the various stages of from ideation to scaling. Now, where is the importance of where we can realize the maximum benefit from the startup is we have to understand this slide, that what are the 9 main highlighted sectors in terms of startups are mainly it is from IT services, followed by healthcare and life sciences, then educational, professional and commercial services, foods and beverages, agriculture, finance technology, technology hardware, construction and green technology. So we see that there are sectors where the startups are there, but now you see the numbers. This list, these are 2 tables. That's definitely not the total of 70,395, but representative list that I have tried to collect from Startup India website is these are the main industries where the startups are really functional. IT mainly 8,000 plus, followed by healthcare and life sciences, education, professional and agriculture. In comparison to 70,000 plus, we have agriculture-based startups only 3,266, which is less than 5% of the total number of startups. And whereas agriculture has lot many allied sectors as well. So if we club that, so we are at 3,266 startups in comparison to 70,000 startups. There's the breakup. There's the major chunk is of others. There are small categories, fragmented cells. We cannot categorize them in the particular one industry. So here we are taking the major thing as 12% of IT, and as you can see, agriculture, a dark blue section. I hope you can see my mouse pointer is mainly at 5%. So there's much to realize. Agro-based startups are less than 5%. So now we have talked about the importance of agriculture. We know the reforms in agriculture are very important. We also discussed about the startup, importance of startups, how startup is contributing significantly. But agriculture, when it comes to agriculture, is startup maximizing the benefit? The answer is not positive. If we talk about startups, it is doing good. If we talk about agriculture, it is producing good, but on low productivity. But are we able to maximize the benefits of startups, mainly agro-based startups? The answer is not positive because we are less than 5%. Now, if we give breakup of 5% of these agro-based startups, we'll find that majority is again in the field of technology, agri-based technology. Out of 3,000, 1,700 plus is in the field of agri-tech. Now, what is agri-tech is about the related innovative technology, latest equipment, agriculture instruments, equipment that is used. So that's mainly agri-tech. But what about the other services, other allied products and services, animal husbandry, dairy farming, fisheries, food processing, horticulture, organic, and there must be others as well. So there's a big chunk which is not having enough openings in form of startup. More than 50% of the agro startups are in the field of agri-tech based startup. The other startups, other allied service or agriculture is not converted or not making the advantage of the startup. So this is the one thing that I wanted to emphasize on. This is the breakup that we are given. Again, talking about that the agri-based startup main chunk is about 55% and remaining shared by the other small proportion. So here is the big opportunity lies. Now moving on to the next thing, that how big opportunity is there now when we talk about startup, when we talk about agriculture, and when we talk about that, mainly it is being utilized by the agri-tech based startup. So very important thing here is to understand innovation. Innovation in agriculture is very important. Now, when I say innovation, now most of us very often we get overlap this with technology. Technological innovation is one kind of innovation. There can be other form of innovation. Very often we call them as open innovation. We call them as frugal innovation. So something which is not practiced or something which is practiced some other industry, are we applying it in the agriculture based economy or not? Whereas we all know that at every region farmers have their own methods, their own frugal methods of innovating things, what they call it as jugaad. So, is that jugaad being shared as a uh, open innovation to other parts of the region? So, there's one big opportunity, one gap which helps us to reach out, or rather pick a jugaad of frugal innovation in that case, and copy it down or trickle it down to the rest of the regions where it can be applicable. Now, when it comes about technology-based innovations, these are some of the major technology-based innovation that has taken place, not in this part of the world, but also globally. So, first is the software as a services. Second is yield monitoring and estimation, farm management platforms, drones, Internet of Things in farming, smart agriculture machines, water management, packaging, eco-friendly plant production and products. These are some of the technology-based innovation that has taken place. And this is the quote that I have taken from one of these sites, which mainly deals in the agriculture-based technology innovation, is that most of the startups, over 90%, who brought up new solutions in the agriculture sector come from Europe. So again, we major produce, major agriculture economy, and yet, if at all, when it comes to technology, we are imitators, not innovators. So we again rely when it comes to adoption of technology in the developed nations like France, Germany, Italy, where the agriculture produce is of where productivity is very high, but it's India dominates when it comes to the volume. So, what I'm trying to emphasize through the slide is that innovation is there, innovation technology is there, but in agriculture, are we adopting it?
Your
Yeah.
slides not shown. Only first slide is showing, sir. The other
Oh
slides
my
are
God.
please
Oh my
check.
God. That's quite some time now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Just a second.
Yeah. From the starting onwards, only first slide is only displaying. We thought you will change, but you are in a flow. I don't want to disturb you.
Oh,
I gave a message in the chat box. Yeah, from first slide onwards, you just scroll.
now can you see my slides flipping through?
Yes. Agriculture startup innovation. Yes, sir. Right, fine.
So should I just quickly have a recap of what all I just delivered? Can I just explain?
Scroll the slides. That's all, sir.
Okay, fine. So this first slide was mainly I was talking about the contribution of agriculture in the Indian economy, and followed by the challenges that we have in this field. So I hope now my slides are visible to you, all of you. The second slide is
yes, sir.
Challenges. Yes. Now it's startup contribution in the economy in the next slide, which mainly talks about the number of startups and the stages of the startups.
No, third is not visible. Only second. It was stuck at second only. Yes. Now okay.
Okay, so I am instead of full screen, I am flipping through this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay, so this is about the startup progression. It's mainly at where the various stages of the startups. So I just emphasize that the validation is the more than 22,000 startups are in the stage of validation, followed by early traction, and we have now 7,800 plus startups which are in the profitable state, so which is definitely somewhere around 9 to 10%. And then what are some of the startup drivers and some of the sectors where the startups are focusing on. Next slide was about the total number of 70,000 startups. The major fields, major startups are in which area, though the total is not 70,000, it's a representative list of the number of startups in various fields, followed by the breakup of this in the form of emphasizing that agriculture is contributing only 5% of startups. This was the main point that I wanted to highlight. And in that 5%, that is 3,000 plus startup, only agri-tech, that is 5% is contributing in total number of agriculture-based startups. Agro-based startups are contributing 5% total number of startups. And in that agriculture startups itself, 50% is in agri-tech-based startup. So we see there's a huge scope of other allied services and products of agriculture that startup needs to be introduced. This is the agro-based startup breakup. There again, we are talking about that 55% of the agro-based startup is agri-tech startup. Agri-tech startup mainly deals in the technology, innovation-based technology in the form of equipment, instruments, information that is helping the farmers. Now, the second thing that I discussed was about the importance of innovation, and these are some of the techniques, technology available in the field of innovation, in the field of agriculture rather, but not talking only from a South Asian perspective, but globally, these are the very popular technologies. Now, this we should be asking with our agriculture industry experts that out of all these technologies, how many technologies are actually being used at the various stages of the farms, let's say huge, medium, and small farms. So the answers are, there's a huge gap where the implementation of technology is there. Through this, I also quoted this statement from the pixofarm.com, which says that most of the startups are from the Europe, which are using the technologies. And so these are two things that I established or I emphasized was the importance of agriculture, followed by the importance of innovation in agriculture. And when I said innovation, I just only didn't mean that technology-based innovation, but also non-technology-based innovation, which you also call as frugal innovation or open innovation. So that really need to be shared as a knowledge repository and shared and implemented or hand-holding to some of the farmers units so that it can be realized, potential can be realized. Now, coming to this very important part, that is categories of farmers. So as you can see that there are 5 categories: marginal, small, semi-medium, medium, and large. And the percentage of large and medium farm is very, very small. More than 80% of the farmers belong to the first two categories, that is below 1,000 or rather below 2,000 hectares. So 80% of the farmers are belonging to this category. So and another discouraging news that is there, I quoted, is that the share of medium farmers has come down from 3% to 1.4%, and the share of large farmers who have more than 10 hectares of land has come down from 0.5% to 0.1% at the same time. So these numbers are not encouraging when it comes to the expansion or the farmers' prosperity. Prosperity is a very strong word, but in terms of the agriculture produce, promises, or future prospects. So the main sector or the main strata lies at first two stages, marginal and small, where they are 80% nature, and the news also suggests that the overall income of these farmers is not encouraging. They are working equivalent to the wage laborers. So this is not the encouraging sign. So I'm sure that importance lies in identifying why it is so, and by maximizing the how to maximize by making the use of startups and identifying the gaps. And next is sustainability. Now, when I say that how to maximize the benefit of startups, benefit of agriculture, and by maximizing or realizing the benefits of innovation is through sustainability. Now, yesterday, I heard this term only once when it comes to $5 trillion economy is the word sustainability. See, $5 trillion economy is just a number. So we don't have to touch and come back. We have to achieve and we have to sustain. So if we talk about the demand side, if we talk about the import export, if we talk about the percentages, income, interest rates, it's very equally important to understand the sustainability as well. So a few years back, when we were also discussing that why major startups are failing, sustainability was the main cause that came out after so many researches, that the startups are coming up with the ideas and not working, the business model is not working on the lines of sustainability. So in my opinion, sustainability is one big thing that should be really worked on. And what are the dimensions of sustainability? Sustainability comes with three things. First is economical sustainability, social, and environment. You cannot say that economical sustainability is more important than social or environment. All these three work hand in hand. If economic is more, so at some stage environment or social will create an imbalance, because after all everything is interconnected. Now I just let me give one more example, is that uh, uh, if a farmer is not, if the income of farmer is not increasing, so it means the farmer is migrating, and farmer is quitting the business, farmer is quitting the farming. So again that brings a huge chunk of unemployed or the unemployed persons, right? So now that decreases the labor, the availability of labor at a cheap price. Now if the labor is cheap, then definitely the productivity is low. Now if the productivity is low, then the other costs are increasing. Now if the health and hygiene, let's say if the farmer is not earning well, then it is affecting the health and hygiene of the farmer and his family. So if that is compromised, then again that is increasing the cost. Medical, government spending on medical and other facility and subsidies also increasing. That again cost to the government. Then again, if things are not working well, similar fashion, then again it is affecting the social harmony of that region. Again, the security imbalance is again creating. So again, that is creating more security issues of that region. So all the things are interconnected to each other. So in my opinion, when we talk about 5 trillion, 5 trillion is just a number. We have to also talk about this achieving and sustaining that number, and how we can do that by the achievement or rather working on these three parameters as well. That is economical, social, and environment. And here the research or the academician steps in. What are the various indicators of sustainability? Now, taking this as first, I hope my slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
So this slide mainly talks about the sustainability indicators, that is economic, So it is divided into four parts, that is finance, customer, internal processes, learning and development. So these are the major drivers of economic sustainability indicators. So research or the startups or the analysis, if we need to, if it need to be done. So all these indicators should be considered. So I will read out in these indicators, economic indicators of sustainability, that is operational income, sales growth, return on investment, return on equity. See, all these may not be directly applicable to the farmer, but these are the comprehensive list of indicators, economic sustainability indicators. And if we want to, if suppose out of this presentation, let's say if somebody wants to come up with the startup in the field of agriculture, so we really need to think upon the challenges in the field of agriculture. Is that startup maximizing or utilizing that challenge? Second is that startup working on the enough gaps there in the innovation, that the innovation is not reaching to the bottom pyramid of the farmers? Third would be whatever startup is coming up with the value, whatever produce they are coming up with or services, is it sustainable? Now, when we talk about sustainability, the economic sustainability, so what are the parameters of economic sustainability? These are the parameters of economic sustainability. So they have to assess whether the operational income, sales growth, return on investment, return on equity, net cash flow, cost per unit produced. I'm sure all the startups are already must be doing the economic sustainability. When it comes to customers, market share, customer response time, on time delivery, number of customer complaints, so on and so forth, internal processes, learning and development. These are the economic indicators. I'm sure all the startups and the financial institutions are already working hard to achieve economic sustainability. But where we are lacking is we are lacking the other two parameters, that is environmental sustainability and social sustainability. So, what are some of the environmental sustainability indicators? Materials. The environment is having sufficient of that material or not. Uh, let's say I give you one example that Agra, I belong to Agra, and Agra is famous for its desert called Petha. I'm sure you must have heard about this desert called Petha, right? So, what is the raw material of this petha? The raw material of that petha is a special kind of pumpkin, which we also call it as ash gourd. So, ash gourd is produced in surplus in this region. So, let's say somebody wants to come up with startup of utilizing the North India startup, and that startup want to assess that what are some of the produce or richness of this region. The answer would be that, let's say after doing certain analysis, ash gourd comes out. So now we see lately last 5-6 years, as the health issues have increased, so is the health focus of the individual has increased. So we see that there are other benefits of ash gourd, rather just by not just only producing the desert, manufacturing a desert, but it has its own medicinal values as well. So it's very important to understand that in some other part of the world, somebody requires a fresh juice of ash gourd. Somebody requires ash gourd as a somebody requires ash gourd as a let's say drink or some vegetable or some medicine value. So that's not available. So it's a market. So can we come up with some supply chain model, some packaging system that can reach there? So we have to understand the uh, uh, sustainability. So material sustainability, it's available in one part of the world, and whereas it is required by some other part of the region. So how we are going to serve this, and thinking that whether ash guard can be grown in some other region or not. So this is what we mean by the material sustainability. Are we over exploiting the region with that produce or whatever that region is providing to you? So we really need to work on the material sustainability, followed by energy. We all know that energy coming, we have this coal crisis, we have the alternate energy solutions, we are coming with solar energy solutions. So we need to work on these replacement of the sustainable environmental factors with the energy which is very scarce in nature, available at very high price. Water, we all know how scarce that water is. Biodiversity, emission, uh, effluents, waste, environment aspects of products and services, environmental compliances, transporting, and general environmental issues. So these are some of the drivers or the indicators if you really want to study the economic environment, environmental sustainability. So we really need to work on these sustainable factors, rather environmental sustainable factors. And last is the social indicator. Social indicator simply is the disparity in the employment, migration from rural to urban areas. So that's really hurting the sustainable thing. One of the major things that we have seen especially in the field of farming, is that the next generation is not interested in the farming. The next generation is more happy to struggle in the tier one, tier two city to work as a labor, or to come up with for some of them going with the higher education and coming for the corporate jobs, private jobs, joining the manufacturing industry. But the workforce of the agriculture economy, that farmers, I mean, the next generation is not, especially in the lower strata, or rather the major strata of the farmers, they are not adopting the same legacy. Labor management is big issue. Occupational health and safety standards, we have such a huge disparity in the health and safety standards of the region that's really affecting. Training and education, I have mentioned in the initial slide that how important this is for achieving the social sustainability. Diversity and opportunity, investment procurement practices, non-discrimination, freedom of association and collective bargaining, child labor, forced and compulsory labor, security practices, marketing communication, indigenous rights, community, corruption, public right, community itself, corruption, public policy, anti-competitive behavior, compliance, customer health and safety standards, product theft, service labeling, customer privacy. These are some of the indicators. And again, I'm repeating it. It may not be directly applicable to the agriculture, all these sectors, but we have to study these factors, whether it is applicable in achieving the agriculture sustainability in case if we come up with a startup. So this is about the sustainability. And so again, now I would like to say about what is the road ahead. Initially, I told that this presentation is all about agriculture, startups, innovation, and sustainability. Now, but I would like to say that only if we identify the gaps that agriculture industry is not able to meet out. So there is the gap is there. Let's say low productivity. So can we come up with a startup which is essentially non-agri-tech in nature? Because agri-tech, we are already doing something. Agriculture, something which talking about low productivity. Can we come with a startup which maximizes the productivity, which is making the use of innovation? Innovation, not only in terms of technology, but also frugal innovation. And are we addressing the sustainability issues? Now, all these four factors went together, clubbed, and we come up with some economic opportunity. Now that's where the potential is there. Now, if you're able to tap this potential, then we move forward towards Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, sustainable Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. So this is what I want to say. And some of the road ahead also is there. Very important thing is that if we really want to talk in terms of global power, where touching the new frontiers of economy, we will have to step out of our regional markets. Any regional farmer who is quite happy providing the agricultural produce to its local or regional market, that farmer should think beyond that. Now, if we are able to serve that zone, we should think about nation. Now, if we are able to achieve or provide the produce to nation, we should think world as our market. So, very important thing is that agriculture farms are they feel quite self-sufficient, quite satisfied once they achieve the global or the national thing. We should move beyond our national markets. We should look for, there are very few crops these days, let's say mango. Our mango travel places across the globe. So likewise, we have so many herbs. We have so many medicinal herbs. We have so many agriculture produce. Our agriculture produce are known at so many different parts of the world where it's not there. So can we go there? Just like any private MNC, if we cross the border, we put up our manufacturing bases. Are our farmers capable enough that we now leave our nation, we acquire other region out of the India, we start producing there, we maximize, let's say out of 20, we have 15 soils. So why can't we tap the other 5 soils? Can we come up with those regions? Can we purchase land? Can our startup or our agro-based farmers, can we step to that boundary and acquire the land and can produce their agriculture good in that region as well, and taking the entire world as one market. Only then we'll become a global brand, just like Ma'am was talking about yesterday. I was talking yesterday about that no brand is about national brand, it's a global brand. Only then we can realize maximum revenue out of it, and that's going to directly influence our goal of $5 trillion economy. So, with this, I end. These are some of the references that I have used while making this presentation. Thank you very much. I would happy to answer any of the question if there. Please.
Thank you, sir. Really, it was a wonderful session. We have pointed out many points here. Yesterday, we have seen the demand side analysis, and this is now supply side analysis, where production can, as you mentioned, that farmers can capable enough to acquire land, everything. So the thing is that we have to cross the borders and enter into that. That was excellent. Now I request all the delegates, if you have any queries or any questions, any clarifications, the forum is open. It is an interaction session now. As silence is accepted and silence is explaining that there is no question, it's very clear. Sir, as you mentioned that sustainability indicators and parameters, absolutely right. Economic indicators, environmental indicators, and social indicators. So the thing is that the required is how to come up with. So as you said, the startups and innovations, and even the sustainability of the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. So a regional market, moving from regional market to the others, opening the door is the need of the hour. So I thank Rohit sir. Thank you very much from the management and staff and students of Stella College, Vijayawada. Thank you so much. I was, when I call you, when I messaged you, I am an impression that whether you will remember or not. So when I got a speed reply, I was so happy. Then I felt very happy that you shared very nice topic, because everyone are talking about industry, manufacturing sectors and everything. Yours is a new version here, agricultural sector, and how to attain agricultural sector, how to attain sustain in agricultural sector, so that the economy can also be in a progress, the path of the progress. Thank you so much.
Also, ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. Also, ma'am, it's very important to highlight that agriculture startup is also very important thing.
Yes.
Why I am saying this is because one of the PhD that my scholar is doing under me, so we are working on that area, that when we talk about startup, we mainly talk about technology based startups and the supply chain. Very few are talking about agriculture, non-agri-tech based startup, where I think the huge potential is there.
So in this regard, even I too want to serve. We are also having some departments where we have all these things. So in this aspect, I would like to collaborate with you and also take some suggestions how to go about with these startups in agriculture, both the agriculture and non-agriculture also. So I will, with the technology and non-technology, I will take your help. I will disturb you in meanwhile in time also regarding that. Please.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure would all be mine.
Yeah. So that we also would we have some vermicompost, medicinal plants, herbs are there. So with that, we want to start an incubation center. Actually, my sister sent me to Ahmedabad, especially to start a new incubation center in Stella College. So in this regard, if any help is needed, I will contact you, and please guide me to start a new startup or innovation in our college, sir.
Ma'am, I'll always be open for any kind of collaboration, and please don't say that I'll guide you. In fact, it will be learning is always a two-way process. I tell you something, I learn something from you. So that would always be, I'm open for any kind of cooperation, not only with you, but all the other members here. So nice. And that's what these academic community is here for.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much. If you have time, you can continue in the session, because the other person is from industry. If you have any busy schedule is there. Whenever you are free, kindly join us. And thank
Yeah,
you very much for.
I would like to take your permission. I
Yeah.
have some prior engagement,
Yes,
so
yes,
thanks
sir.
a lot.
Thank you so much
So
for
please
spending time
pardon me.
with us, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great experience. Okay, ma'am.
Bye. Namaste, sir.
Bye. Namaste.
Just check Sanjay Gupta is there. Sorry. Participants check. Yes. Sanjay sir, very good morning and welcome to the session.
Thank you. Please don't call me sir. I'm honored and privileged to be a part of this fraternity. Thank you.
So thank you for coming and joining the sessions. Now, the first session is over. Sir is talking about the sustainability and especially in agricultural sector. Now we will have the second session of today. And I request Ms. Josna Valentina, Head Department of Political Science, to introduce her to the gathering. Over to you, Josna.
Good morning to each one of you present today. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome the guest speaker, Sanjay Banka. Mr. Sanjay Banka is Executive Chairman of Banka Biolu Limited and a strong propagator of SDG 6, the Water and Sanitation Goal. With academic background in sciences, humanities, human rights, law and business management, he has a strong understanding of the society, economy and the polity along with technology and sustainable development. Professionally, he has worked in family businesses, startups, MNCs and co-founded Banka Biolu with spouse Namita Banka. The Biolu is an affordable on-site sanitation system whereby the fecal matter is converted into water and biogas in a multi-chambered biodigester tank with the help of naturally inoculated bacterial culture. Now, the company also provides fecal sludge treatment plants and packaged service treatment plants. All the solutions are environmentally friendly and have circulatory at heart, with outputs as reusable water and biosolids, both enhancing agriculture yield. Well versed with development and humanitarian problems, primarily issues related to water and sanitation, he puts his best foot forward in helping provide sustainable water, sanitation, and hygiene solutions to households, school children, workers, and many other user groups, with a focus on the marginalized and vulnerable sections of the society, helping eradicate open defecation generally and affordable waste treatment. Sanjay is a prolific writer and speaker and has authored many a piece on sustainable WSH WASH and also spoken extensively, including at the UN. He is a member of many international committees and councils and has put Banka Biolu on the global map. The company is widely appreciated for its triple bottom line, the three P's: people, planet, and profit. So we are happy to have your presence, sir. Welcome to the session.
Thank you, Ms. Jyotsna. So before I think we can put on mute, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Josna. Sir, 1 minute. Thank you, Josna. Sir, now I welcome you to the session.
Sure.
Please carry on.
Thank you. Right. So, Ms. Jyotsna, on before I begin, I would like to share that I was a student of political science, and I scored the highest aggregate marks in my BA in University of Bombay. And international relations has been my favorite topic, and I'm closely following the Russia-Ukraine thing at the moment. Having said that, it's my pleasure to I'll share my small presentation. Yeah, before that, I want the session to be very interactive. I have not planned myself to be talking elaborately. It's more about interaction. So I'll present a few aspects, both generally and a few things that Banka Biolu does on innovation and contributing to the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath program. And then I'm looking forward to a greater interaction with all of you. Right? Can everyone see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, as the topic of the online conference towards Aaatma Nirbhar Bharat, realization of a $5 trillion economy. So, before we talk about all the innovations, etc., I would like to focus on some of the nature-based solutions, because this is becoming a hotter topic today. Not only from a climate change perspective, but also the immense heat waves that we are seeing, etc. So people are talking about coming back to nature. And no beautiful example or more beautiful example than our earthen pots or matka, which naturally cool the water. And if not throughout the year, at least during the summers, we do that. I don't know if there is any other country in the world where I would have seen this earthen pot for cooling water. So one of the foremost things that I would like to propagate is that let us focus on nature-based solutions since time immemorial that we have been a part of. Since ages. The other thing that I would like to share is that when we talk about innovative indigenous solutions, not only do they need to focus on becoming, I would say, self-reliant, Atmanirbhar, but very important to be sustainable. That's all that we do at Banka Biolu. So all the solutions are sustainable, as Ms. Josna said, with resource recovery, with circular elements at heart. And here today I would like to focus on some of the government and academic labs which are developing a number of solutions. So I would say, why not take it from there? Because we have at least one technology we have adopted from a DRDO lab. The other one also we are working on. So instead of just doing R&D, which is in itself, just an R&D in itself, it is important to have applications for that. And academic industry interface is very important. So you have technologies from DRDO. I'll share a few examples. Similarly, ICSSR, Indian Council of Scientific Research. We are working with Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute on sustainable packaging through wool becoming the packaging material rather than the thermocol which is being used quite pervasively. Similarly, we have a lot of, you talked about incubation a while ago. So IITs are coming out with a number of solutions, including for water purification, many other things. So it's time that we bring these applications or rather innovations or R&D that are happening within the academia, within R&D labs of the government or otherwise, and bring them to fruition. That could be one good way of harnessing the talent as well as being Aaatma Nirbhar Bharat. So these are some of the technologies which DRDO labs, there are variety of labs within the Defense Research and Development Organization, and the technologies have been transferred to various private partners, including ourselves. And I'll share two of the technologies that we are in the process of. So this is the bio toilet. That's the flagship solution of Banka Biolu, and the bio toilet, the other term is Biolu. So simple toilet structure, a biodigester tank in which we put a bacterial culture, and that treats the fecal waste on site within the biodigester tank, and out comes water. So if you see it is an on-site system, taking care of things, we don't need energy for treatment. This is just an example. And likewise, there are many more such technological innovations which we can adopt within the business community, taking from the academia or from the R&D labs of the government or other R&D institutes. So it does not require energy. It gives out water that is good for gardening and agriculture. And overall, it's a very I would say good fit for the vast majority of the rural population. And we installed thousands of them in schools, communities, households during the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan before that, and we are continuing now. The best part is it is an integrated unit for defecation and urination as well as waste treatment on site. So fit and forget is how we call this. And this fits in very nicely between the traditional toilet slash waste containment systems and the ultra modern, very high energy consuming, very high, very capital intensive things such as the wastewater treatment plant. So a DRDO biodigester technology indigenously developed, it sits in between the traditional and ultra modern and is very low on capital requirement as well as nil operating expenditure throughout the life of the biotoilet. So this is one example of developing a system, a technology within the country and utilizing it for the vast masses. Another item that we are working on is sustainable packaging. So DRDO, again, a good research lab, R&D lab, and it is very open to interact with the industry, to give out or rather share the technologies it develops with the industry. So we are talking about biodegradable packaging products. So it will be these biodegradable, let's say, bags. I won't call them plastic bags, but the biodegradable bags akin to plastic, and so more durable than the paper bags. And they would biodegrade or rather degrade naturally over a period of time. That's what we are working on. So like this, there are so many technologies available within the country which we need to put to good use by making them commercially viable and scalable. So that my main theme of today is about solutions which are sustainable and benefit the country and the society at the same time, and indigenously developed, obviously. Now, this is an example of a fecal sludge treatment plant that the company Banka Biolu developed internally based on in-house design and development. So this again is low cost, not low cost that way, but not very high capital cost compared to other plants, the one that you saw earlier. The modern or ultra modern sewage treatment plants, which need a lot of energy, which involve high capital cost. So compared to them, here the capital requirement is lower. Again, we use a lot of I would say natural stuff. So the geobag that you see in the first picture, the gray colored one. Here, the sludge goes inside the tube, and there is solid liquid separation. So slowly over a period of a few weeks, the water comes out. This water again good for gardening, agriculture, and what is left over is biosolid that acts as soil conditioner or fertilizer in a layman's language. So a lot is through natural process of separating the solid and liquid, as well as then leaving it to dry under the sun. So using a lot of natural, I would say, flow of things, and not very high requirement in terms of equipment and other aspects. So we need to focus on as companies and in collaboration with the academia and R&D labs to bring solutions to the vast majority of Indians which are not high cost. I don't want to use the term low cost, but not high cost and not high operating cost, and at the same time lower requirement of energy or external intervention. Now, what is important is that all the solutions that we businesses provide, that they have strong impact on the society. So here I've given some examples of the different sustainable development goals. Again, they become the international standard. So the beautiful part about the SDGs is that they have become a very strong international indicator of sustainable development, and each country can measure its progress. Each entity, be it the business or otherwise, can see how it is contributing to these SDGs, either as a main goal, and then we have the aligned goals as such. So impact for us is not unilateral as such, but we want to see in all the three directions, which is social, environmental, and economic. And so while goal 6, which is clean water and sanitation, that is our primary goal that we want to contribute to through our various solutions. But in that process, we also support the other goals. And likewise, I'm sure other solutions would be doing the same when we talk about renewable energy, healthcare, etc. So they have to be the solutions that we talk about, not only towards a self-reliant India, and Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, but also benefiting the society in the same process. That's very important. Not harming the environment, that's important, and contributing to the overall economy. So at Banka Bio, for instance, we have nearly 1,000 members across the country working in different teams on different aspects, providing water, sanitation, and hygiene to the society in different ways. So you see a household toilet, you see school toilets. We work with the Indian Railways, we partner with the Indian Railways in providing in sustainable sanitation in trains. So you can see the team members doing that. Then in the middle, you have this toilet colony for the workers in a construction company. So varied users is what any solution should aim at. So with this, I would like to, although not end my presentation, but these are some of the thoughts I wanted to share. And I'm very keen that we have this, an interactive session.
So thank you, sir. Now the session is open for interaction. Participants, you can interact with sir.
My aim was not to make it an academic exercise wherein I give in a lot of numbers, I keep sharing one-sided thoughts, etc. So I wanted to share a few thoughts, share actual examples that we are undertaking as a company, as what we see within the society, within the industry, how the economy is impacted, and what should be the future course.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, what is the cost effective, sir, this one, this bio ultra modern toilets?
Right. So at a household level, the cost comes to 50,000 rupees for an integrated unit, where we have the toilet, the biodigester tank, all the fitting things with water connection, a wash basin. So a complete toilet and hygiene solution in itself. After that, the household or the user does not need to do anything. It's completely autonomous on its own. So waste treatment will happen within the tank. Water will come out. If we want to use the water, we collect it and use it for gardening, or we can let it go underground. It will recharge the water table. So the benefit is that if we don't use the water or any output, it ultimately goes out to Mother Nature. So the cost is, it may sound slightly higher in the beginning, but in the long run when we see, we are talking about durable, long-lasting toilet solutions with no operating expenditure thereafter whatsoever. And we've installed thousands of them across the country for a variety of users, including at border areas for border police, within the defense, for police, all different kind of work sites, manufacturing, mines, construction and infrastructure entities. Schools, we have done a number of them through CSR programs of companies, for families, communities, etc. So any solution, any indigenous solution, any innovative solutions should truly make India self-reliant, Aaatma Nirbhar, through the variety of users that we serve.
So you don't need a sewage connection for a house, sir?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, because house means it is a permanent structure, but we do have a sewage connection. So it means we don't need any sewage.
Not at all.
But what about the fecal matter has to be changed?
Right. Yeah. So the special design of the biodigester tank and the bacterial culture, both of them act upon the fecal matter, converting it into water mainly, and small amounts of biogas. Now, some solid particles that remain, they come out along with the water. So there is no sewage or sludge left in the tank.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, suppose in colleges, if some sports meets are held, will there be any rental because we do have a permanent structures. Only when the large gatherings are coming, we need them on a temporary base. Are there any rental bases like the
right.
social service, like demo like that?
Sure. So there are companies which do rent out because then their business model is about renting. Our business model is about installing at the user site. So yes, we have these mobile bio toilets or bio toilets on wheels, which can be towed from one place to the other. And we have sold them to police personnel, police departments such as Telangana and others, and they carry. So likewise, yes, within there are models for that. We don't do that because we don't focus on the rental model, but yes, they are available in the market. Sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, you have any branches in Andhra Pradesh?
In Andhra Pradesh, not separately, because since our headquarters are in Hyderabad, so Telangana, Andhra Pradesh are taken care of from Hyderabad itself. Although we have worked with Swachh Andhra Corporation and we have installed fecal sludge treatment plants in a few places. So yes, we do work very actively in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh put together from Hyderabad itself.
Sir, ours is a ladies' college of the 60 years established. It's a Diamond Jubilee year. So right. We have a structure of the old pattern only. So we have many acres of land and cultivation and greenery is there. So as you suggested, if you have such type of buildings here, the toilets or whatever you suggested, how it will be, we have rainwater for pits are there. Then we have all this. So is it possible to introduce such type of system in our college also?
We have done that. So in schools and colleges, we have done a lot many. Rather, that is our favorite, I would say, project, school and college sanitation. So in schools, we have done, I would say, thousands of them across the country through CSR programs. In colleges, there have been fewer. But yes, so there are two ways in the sense that where there is no system or the system is very old and dysfunctional, we can provide the complete integrated unit, the toilet structure plus the biodigester tank system, etc. Or if the toilets are in place, then we can just retrofit to biodigester tank system. The toilets can be pre-installed or whatever they are existing there. We don't need to touch them. So both the options are there.
Sir, if you required any demo will be given to us.
We can look at where in Andhra we have installed, because we have in a few places. So I can provide.
So what are the places, sir?
I'll have to find out.
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
I thought if it is Vijayawada, Amaravati, ours is a place where you can.
Right. So I'll have to find out.
If any collaboration, if you required, is it possible to give any MOU or collaboration with your agency?
Definitely, yeah.
Regarding
so we have MOUs with a few institutes, and including some in Hyderabad. So their students come. We have an R&D lab.
Okay.
So their students come and conduct research. That is one. Secondly, they come for internship also.
Okay.
They can do projects also. So all the options are there, madam. Yes.
Sir, because we have different science departments are there, and we have a green club is also there, where we have few domains like biodiversity, then energy, water management, and all those things are there. And our students are, it's a mandatory to do internships, especially a summer internship is for 4 weeks, and later in the 6th semester they have to do 3 months internship. If you allow our students to do internship in your industry, then definitely they can come there and do that, and also they can train there in that area. So in that case also we can have a MOU, sir.
Sure, yes. So we will provide all the help, support from our side, the various solutions. The students can visit the fields, the variety of solutions that we have. So we have a number of sites. Students can go there, undertake research. Currently, we are doing social impact assessment in collaboration with a US university. So there they have these 2 fellows who are doing this, and they would be undertaking social impact assessment of biotoilets installed in household. And so yes, I mean, we definitely can do various things in this direction.
So, do you have any collaboration with the government of India? Like government of India is paying each house to construct a toilet for in Swachh Bharat, these things. Do you have any collaboration presently in rural areas? If they construct a toilet, they are giving 10,000 like that. So, in that, to replace the model of that, do you have any collaborations or any like this?
Sure. So there are no collaborations with the government as such. So there could be, I would say, partnerships or engagement proposals, etc. So we have worked with DRDA, District Rural Development Agency in Tamil Nadu, and we installed these biodigester tanks. They did the toilets, and we provided only the biodigester tanks of 10,000 liters, which served at a community level. Similarly, we work with municipal corporations, including Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, and there we have provided bio-toilets for public users across the city. So we do work with the government a lot, including the Swachh Andhra Corporation, as I said. So government is a very big, very large partner, and we do that. So there is no, with the state government, with the central government, there is no collaboration per se, but it's all about engagement and based on the specific need. So, for instance, in to Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, through them, we provided bio-toilets in the city. Now, we are also additionally working with Commissioner and Director of Municipal Administration, CDMA, both in Andhra through the Swachh Andhra Corporation and in Telangana, and installing these fecal sludge treatment plants that you saw. So we work significantly with governmental entities.
So thank you. In future, we are looking forward to visit our college, sir. If you happen to be anytime in Vijayawada, please visit our college and Department of Economics, sir.
Definitely, I'll come. So in the past, I have come to Swachh Andhra Corporation's office, which is in Vijayawada. So in future, whenever I come to Vijayawada, I'll come and meet, definitely.
Sure, sir. You are welcome, sir.
Sir, can you share some success stories to the students so that they can also get idea?
Sure. Yeah. So I would, so one example is we partnered Havels India Limited, the electrical items company. So their largest plant is in Alwar in Rajasthan, and they had been undertaking midday meal program as a part of their CSR there. And they had been doing long ago. I guess it's more than 10 years, much before the CSR mandate became a part of law. So in 2015, they wanted to add sanitation, because nutrition and sanitation, that nexus is supposed to be very important in the development of the child. So then it becomes holistic education. So we started with them, and over a five-year period, we installed bio toilets in 100 schools per year, 500 schools in Rajasthan, in Alwar district alone. This is one example of a strong partnership of a large company undertaking socially responsible activity with a small company such as ours, and we supporting education. So that is why quality education, the goal 4, is very dear to our heart. So that is one instance, very strong success story. People have appreciated. So through in the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Swachh Bharat, Swachh Vidyalay is something that we work very strongly with a number of companies. Other than Havels, it was GAIL India Limited, where with them we did in a number of states. Similarly, Dalmia Bharat Group, they have these cement plants across the country, and they would adopt a few schools in the vicinity of the cement plants. So with them, we installed these bio toilets in schools. So CSR and school sanitation has been one of the big success stories. In the last 3 years, we have worked with the government of Goa through their Goa Waste Management Corporation. So as we talked about the government collaboration, so we worked with Goa Waste Management Corporation, and we installed bio toilets in over 3,500 households in the state of Goa. And that is what is being kind of undertaken as a impact assessment study now by these fellows of a US university. The school sanitation program in Rajasthan, there the impact study was undertaken with the help of UNDP. They have an arm called Business Call to Action, and they have an impact lab. So with them, we did a social impact assessment study. I can share that with you. I'll send to Dr. Josephine, and she can share internally. So impact assessment study was done. So likewise, yes, it has been, 2 years ago, we installed bio toilets at border areas with Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP. So like this, there are numerous, and now, I shouldn't forget Indian Railways. That has been the biggest success story, I would say. So today, all the trains are fitted with bio toilets. So initially, we fitted the biodigester tanks in the toilets, and now we undertake operations and maintenance of them. So in Andhra Pradesh, we do it in Tirupati and Vishakhapatnam. These two places, we have our teams for undertaking operations and maintenance of bio toilets in trains in South Central Railway and East Coast Railway. So I would say this is the biggest success story of an innovative indigenous Aaatma Nirbhar solution, bio toilets in trains. And you will not find the night soil or the fecal matter on the tracks. In fact, I'll tell you, it is sometimes said, or rather many a time it is felt, that the benefit is to the railways, to the passengers, etc. But I say that the biggest benefit of these bio toilets in the trains has been to the residents of informal settlements, or slum as we call, near the tracks. Now they get a fecal matter-free environment. So they are the biggest beneficiaries rather than the passengers. So this is something which generally has not been kind of propounded so much. So numerous, I would say, successes of one solution that we have been a part of in this so many years.
Sir, what about the solution? There is no water in somewhere plants because you cannot carry overhead tank water. Suppose fecal matter, solid waste you are managing. What about the water you manage, sir? How
Right.
do you?
So the thing is again water, how much? That is the question. I mean, if people have a lot of water, they may use a lot of water. If less water, we can also. So I'll tell you, we Indians are washers. That is one. So we need water for washing. Secondly, we need water for flushing. So some water is required. Again, the bioloo, the bio toilet, it does not say how much water. If we are comfortable with, let's say, half a liter water, 1 liter water, fine. The system does not require a specific quantity. If certain places, if they have more water and they would like to flush it, let's say 10-15 liters, that's also okay. It does not kind of have any impact on the system. So water we need primarily, all of us, irrespective of the type of solution, we need for washing and flushing. So our toilet systems are such that there is a provision of putting overhead water tank on the roof of the toilet. So either we can fill that with, so in many places those are filled through tankers when we talk about on the footpath and all that, or through a water connection. So when it is within a school, for instance, within a work site, etc., so then the water connection is there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It means we need some amount of water to be carried overload, whether to be supplied with tanker or not.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Or then there is a big drum kind of thing near the toilet, and water is stored in that, and people can take that using a bucket. So either way, water is required because our toileting habits are related to water. Flushing and washing.
Sir, can it be mobile, sir? Once it is installed, can it be changeable from one place to another place?
Not these ones. These are stationary. They are fixed to the ground.
Yes,
so
sir.
once we do that, then it is nearly permanent. Mobile units are different. They are on wheels, and then they can be towed by tractor or another vehicle from one place to the other.
Do you have mobile units, sir?
We have them in the sense we make them on order. We don't make and keep. So renting is not one of the business models of the company. It's mainly about installing it for the needy. So let's say when a particular municipal corporation or a police division wants mobile toilets, then we make for them. We make for them and provide it to them.
And one more thing, maintenance is a lot of problems, sir. In Vijayawada, we see a lot of these things installed on the roads. But one thing, it will be on the opening day only. Once other times, all of them are not maintained properly. So maintenance is a major problem in these things.
Right. So I will tell you, the beauty about bio toilets is that they don't need separate maintenance. They only need cleaning, as we would keep any toilet clean. So it's mainly about cleanliness and hygiene. So that is what is required, not really maintenance. We don't have to do anything with the fecal matter. What is required is clean toilets, because we all want to use a clean toilet. That's the thing. So there is only cleaning, washing, keeping it usable. That is what is important. And our toilets have ventilations on 3 sides. So we ensure enough passage of air in and out, etc. That's the thing. So we have made it very less dependent on any operations maintenance thing. The only 2 things that are regularly required are water and cleaning. That's the thing.
Mr. Rajesh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So the thing is, yes, any entity. That is why the Indian Railways, in the trains, they have these operations and maintenance contracts with companies such as ours. We ensure maintenance. So likewise, be it municipal corporations or local bodies, they need to have an agency which will undertake maintenance or cleanliness, as you call. Yes, that has to be a part of things. That is something which again the ULB has to undertake.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
Mr. Rajesh Thakur has raised a hand. Mr. Rajesh, you can proceed.
Yes, sir. What is the minimum area required for establishing this instrument?
The biotoilet?
Yes, sir.
Right. So the toilet would take, I would say, something like 4 feet by 4 feet space. That's
Okay.
one. And then the biodigester tank goes underground behind the toilet.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more question.
Sure.
Is there any separate water system is required?
Not really. In the sense that whatever, so all toilets need water. We need water for flushing and washing. So we need to provide water to the user. It could be through a water connection, or we could fill the overhead tank. In one case, or rather in many cases in schools, we have these hand pumps of a special variety, which kind of push the water to the water tank. So when we did this project in Odisha as a part of CSR program of GAIL, then I'm not able to recollect the name of that hand pump. It was such that it would push the water to the overhead tank without, I would say, without electricity. What kind of pump it was, I'm not able to remember. But yes, that's also possible. So there is a bore well, and we can fetch water for our own need as well as push the water to the overhead tank of the toilet. So
okay, sir.
Many things are.
Sir, what could I understand? That there is no separate need of any water body is required. Even we can manage it with the overhead tank, whatever we have in the home or house.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Really, these are an excellent models, sir. Really, you made us learn so many things.
Thank you.
Because India is a place where a tropical country where we too much hot, too much cold, and one's own dignity has to be sustained. So these are the models where one can have the dignity, sir. Really, these things. But the thing is, government has to be collaborated, and they have to do the things. Let us look forward.
Two things I want to share here. You talked about dignity good. So what I have always believed personally, and we as a company, again I want to bring the gender dimension here, that the bioloos have a strong element of dignity, security, and health hygiene for the women and girls. So we have observed that dropout rates have decreased in schools where sanitation has been provided. So dignity is an important element. And when we talk about governments, I'll tell you, we strongly work with governmental bodies because it is the prime responsibility of the government as far as health is concerned, water sanitation is concerned, education is concerned. So we work with a variety of government and semi-governmental entities in providing solutions to all types of users.
Very good, sir. Sir, before I ask you one question on tax, see, in India where we have a tax exemption on luxury cars and we don't have tax exemption on sanitary napkins, it's very sorry that we have to admit these things, sir. But do you have any tax exemptions? All these things are like.
Yeah, not really. So it is taxed at the general rate of 18%. But yes, here I would want to share a story that during the time of VAT, before GST, at the time of VAT, VAT was something which was the prerogative of each state. So we approached the government of Telangana and we showed them all the benefits of bio-toilets. And then the government of Telangana levied, or rather put them in the 5% category versus the 14% or 28% tax category. So yes, one state government we were able to persuade. Now we can't do it throughout the country, but within the GST regime, the tax rate is 18%. But you rightly said that some of these don't attract the kind of tax attention, as I would say. They need to, yes, including sanitary napkins and similar things.
Thank you so much, sir. In future, we will be looking forward to have a seminar with you separate on this Swachh Bharat and this bio-toilets.
Sure.
If we plan from the Department of Economics in future, sir, we want your cooperation in future also, and the models, these things. Do you have any advertisement units, like, sir, advertising units? Because today everything goes on advertisement, like Amazon, all these things.
Yeah. So we don't we don't have anything of that kind, being a mid-sized company. But yes, we do kind of share the messages through social media. That is one. And wherever required, we provide information on our solutions and all that. So that is there to a certain scale, but not mass advertising, I would say.
Thank you so much. I have asked you so many questions.
My pleasure.
So since there are no questions from the participants, so even the topic is interested in the need of the our like country place where we have a large sections of the population. Today, this is the thing, sir. And mostly women don't drink water more and men drink water more, and these things, there are so many things which has to be addressed in a country like India, but nobody wants to talk and nobody wants to these things are answered, sir. Let these things throw a lot of thinking on our through our seminars, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. I'll share two examples here. So you talked about women not drinking water because they would not find a clean toilet. So yes, that is the fact with Namita Banka, my wife and the co-founder for this. So she was working, she was a jewelry designer, and the market that she would go to very often, the small jewelry workshop, they did not have toilets. So she would hold on or not drink water, and it impacted her health. And finally, she had to be operated for kidney stone. So these are live, true examples. That's one. And then I'll tell you, in the past, the trains did not have waste bins in the toilet. So unfortunately, all the things, including pads of women and nappies of children, bottles, etc., they would be thrown on the track. But we also pushed, maybe others may have done, but we also pushed the railway administration that there needs to be a waste bin in the toilet of the train, and that has also been done recently, executed that. Yeah. So yes, what is required is that we continuously need to push the administration in undertaking such tasks and activities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Dr. Bhavani ma'am is in the session. Bhavani ma'am, can you on your camera and speak, because you introduced me. Yeah.
Sir, namaste. Very nice to see you. This is my alma mater. Maristella is my alma mater.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bhavani.
Bhavani madam, good morning.
Good morning, sir. No video for us. The computer, whatever I have, doesn't have
Okay.
The camera.
Your voice is powerful. We don't need to see you.
Thank you. Sir, even on the other day I spoke to you, but very busy with invigilations, examinations and all those things. Now a little getting time. I want you to get connected with us, with all colleges through Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. I told you about Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Both Lala and also Stella, I'll definitely approach you again. That is, I'm preparing something. I'll get back to you. To Maristella also, my suggestion is involve sir in the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan scheme and village adoption. Okay, and in specific, what is that? If you have, as Swaroop sir is talking about, if you have a session for your students, all the college students, because there are so many students coming from rural areas to Maristella. For that reason, they'll get to know the new model of BioLoo.
I'm very happy to participate. I'll tell you, I mentor students and entrepreneurs globally. So it is a passion for me, and I'll tell you, it is my way of giving back to the society, to the community from whom I have taken a lot. So it's a give back time in terms of sharing knowledge, practices, insights, etc. Very happy to join.
Nice, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, Josephine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. If any participant would like to ask any clarification or any suggestion or guidelines, you can. We have 2 more minutes are there.
Not recognized.
Okay, fine. Then I would like to thank our sir. Sir, really, the pleasant face of yours shows that we are not introduced or we are not met this day only. It's like that we have a good relationship from the past years. So thank you very much, and you have given a very good session on this topic. And as you said, yes, sir, these bio toilets, especially as you mentioned, that strong element is dignity and security and hygiene. That is the highlight of your BioLoo products. And as you said that it's not the special quantity, but whatever is needed, you have to think in an innovative, indigenous, linked with Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. Thank you very much. As you mentioned, your success stories especially, those are really motivating and inspirational, like your midday meal program in Alwar, and also, as you mentioned about the adding of sanitation in that, and Swachh Bharat with GAIL India, and also regarding this Goa-based management one, and especially the railways. It was excellent, as you mentioned. That is true, sir. Nowadays, the tracks are really very clean and very swachh. So that is now I understood because of, I think, your ideas only. So we as a college, it's women's college, but still we educated first, then we will educate our students, so that, as madam mentioned, that our students are mainly from the rural connectivity students, only area students. So it will be useful for them, so that they also, after the degree, they also will have a little startup like that, and they also will motivate and educate. And as you said, Swachh Bharat, Swachh Gram, like that, their place they will become that one. So thank you so much. Really, we are very happy and fortunate and lucky enough to have you here in our session. Thank you so much. And this is not starting, this is not ending, this is starting. We will continue, sir, and definitely we will have a tie-up with you. We request you to give some MOUs, especially regarding the internships, as well as any sessions or any training if you want to give in our college also. Just whenever your free time is there, we will approach you and you help us to join with you and to do the work, Swachh work, otherwise whatever bio work for the college, for the society, for India. Thank you so much, sir. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Been an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now the floor is, now the session will have a presentations here. We have Arpan Shri. Arpan Shri, would you like to present your presentation?
Sorry, ma'am, I'll be presenting tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, many are asking tomorrow. It will be a hectic schedule, I think, tomorrow. I think I allotted slot today only for you. No,
Josephine, forgive me, I'll join back afterwards.
Yes, Bhavani ma'am, thank you so much. Okay then, Arpan.
Bhavani ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am.
So um, then just we have 20 minutes time is there here. Uh, Students who want to present papers, they are writing some examination list, it seems. They ask permission that they will join 12 o'clock. So meanwhile, just I would like to share a few points from my side on Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. So just I would like to mention few of my ideas in my paper presentation towards realization of a $5 trillion economy, presented by Dr. Josephine Sandhyarani, Head Department of Economics, Stella. As we have seen from the last year, Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath is a supporting of the Indian economy, especially when COVID occurred here. It was unexpected natural disaster, we can say, or natural calamity happened here. All of a sudden it was happened. So this means it's like a self-reliant India or self-sufficient India. Otherwise, how to come over that one? Then during that period, Prime Minister Modi, Narendra Modi ji, has announced this policy for making India into a bigger or a more important part of the global economy, so that they pursued some policies that are efficient, as a competitive and resilient, and also self-sustaining. So the self-reliant is mainly based on the 5 pillars in Aaatma Nirbhar program: economy, infrastructure, system, demography, and demand. The aim of this Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath is especially Abhiyan is to make the country and citizens independent and self-reliant in all the senses. So the 5 phases they mentioned in Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. Phase 1 is about the business, including MSMEs. Then phase 2 is about poor, including migrants and farmers. Phase 3 is agriculture. Phase 4 is new horizons of growth. Phase 5 is about the government reforms and enablers. So the Indian economy has set ambitious target of transforming $5 trillion economy by 2024. From yesterday onwards, we are listening to that. The dream, otherwise how to attain that, or the march towards the attainment of the target, that is $5 trillion economy. So this is the massive target if India was set it by the government, that is $5 trillion attainment by 2024, while our country is currently at the position around 2.92 trillion only. So its position is it is holding its position in the 6th place, where India needs to produce 9% of GDP growth every year. So precisely the goal of government is here, how to attain that GDP rate, and also how to reach that massive target that was set as 5 trillion economy. So here the services sector contribution is 3 trillion, manufacturing sector units is 1 trillion, and agriculture is again 1 trillion. So the focus is on especially uplifting of the financial conditions of the population and the poverty line, and also the third largest economy in the world. So its vision is becoming 5 trillion. So the critical chart is that what is the roadmap, what are the highlights of the transformation of the Indian economy and society, what they need to undergo and to achieve what is the vision, and transforming for the future, that is a journey towards 5 trillion, which highlights the critical transformations like India would have undertaken to achieve long-term growth, various economic, social, regulatory, technological and environmental facts, where the government and industry should have collaboration to help the India to reach the 5 trillion economy. Now just you can see this is the flow chart I have taken. 5 trillion in Indian economy. You can see the aspects here. What are the job aspects? What are the economic aspects? On infrastructure, social, climate and sustainability, policy reforms. That's what from yesterday we have seen the demand side. Now we have seen the supply side. So first we will see the attainment of $5 trillion Indian economy, jobs. So manufacturing services and not just manufacturing, health and education will create jobs, but also drive toward the GDP, where we can create many jobs even in tourism side also. So creation of employment, of creation of jobs, not only in agriculture or allied or manufacturing, but also involving the tourism services into that, so that the GDP can be increased. If you see the economic aspect here, doubling of the farmers' income. So here the traditional methods are used and the farmers are very much upset and lagging behind because of all the things and also the effect of the pandemic. So here the thing is how to make those farmer sector into successful one, otherwise attain productivity increase. So the introduction of the biotechnology and future manufacturing, anyway, importance of increasing manufacturing, then also infrastructure and also strengthening the services sector, insurance, others. All these are the important things. Then if you go to the third point here, infrastructure, this is a private sector investment. Yesterday also Sir was talking about public people participation, PPP participation, funding the requirement, how to maintain the smart cities, the urban and rural cities and rural areas and everything, and connecting the urban and rural toward development. And also another important one is here, digitalization and infrastructure and also re-energizing the power sector. So when all these things are taken care, or extra effort was put, then only it will reach. So the path towards is mainly job, economic and third is infrastructure. Now if you go to the social, reducing inequalities and leveraging the demographic dividend, enhancing the health outcomes. So the third aspect is social aspect. In the social aspect here, inequalities are more there. So inequality should be reduced. So whenever inequalities are reduced, then that leads to improve the demographic dividend, and also by improving the health and education, then there will be an improvement in the social aspect point of view. Then if you see the climate and sustainability, so climate is emergency into the economic thinking. And as morning first session Sir was discussing about sustainability, so attainment is okay, we will attain, but the thing is sustaining that the attainment is very important. That's why in the climate and sustainability, the better future in business point of view, agriculture, agribusiness or manufacturing or services, sustainability is important. And finally, the policy reforms and governance here, transformed governance support, that is strengthening the economic ecosystem and also structural reforms, foreign trade, industrial policy, and to enhance the competitiveness. So when we're discussing about the competitiveness and indigenous products with the foreign, so how to strengthen them is important. So you can see this graph here. The target what you have reached set is $5 trillion. So 2019 we are around at 2.9, 2020 we are at 3.2, 2021 we are at 3.5, in 2022 3.8. That means now we are in at the stage of 3.8 and to almost 4.5. Then 24 is our target, that is the 5.2. This picture I took from the World Bank Government of India articles showing that how to attain the 5 trillion economy, how to reach into the 5 trillion. This is the way we have to go forward. So we have to reach to the $5 trillion by 24-25 economy. So today we see the Indian economy stands in a cusp of radical changes. That is the transformation that could lead to unprecedented economic growth. The last 2 decades, if you observe here, the GDP has risen more than 1 trillion, and India's bold aspirations is to become the 5 trillion will be driven to strengthen the manufacturing sector, agricultural sector, and also focusing on services. That means all the three sectors' contribution is very important to attain the $5 trillion economy, as we have settled in this pandemic situation. Especially value addition is employment generation and economic growth is very important. So achieving the economic ambition, it will go a long way to help India to move towards the becoming a very high income country. So it is very much essential to address the economic challenges and also the regulatory challenges so that they can improve the socio-environmental outcomes, especially making the economy stronger, ranging from education, healthcare, inclusiveness, and also sustainability. Just if you see the next surge of economic growth in India, the first one is transforming agriculture and doubling the farmers' income. As we have seen that the agricultural sector is in a struggle and in crisis here, the first thing that what they have to do under this new phase in the Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath is that transforming agriculture and doubling the farmers' income. As the farmers are getting very low income, they have to undertake measures, especially to transform the agricultural sector and also double the income of the farmers. Future ready manufacturing. So in the manufacturing sector, they have to make policies in such a way that they should be income generated and job oriented. And the third one is playing India's strength in services, insurance, banking services and finances. They should be very strong role should be there. So they have to play a very strong role in India, especially in service. That's why I have taken these three in the first top: agriculture, industry and service. And the last one is technology. Nowadays, digitalization, as I was mentioning in the morning session, digitalization of farmers is also very much important. So leveraging technology to drive the economic growth. So if you take the doubling of farmers' income, a path for a vibrant rural economy, as you can see that India is the largest producer of spices, pulses, milk, tea, and second largest producer for wheat and rice in the world. But in terms of yielding, it is ranked at 60th place. Producer is the largest producer. When it comes to yield, it is 60th place. So the development, if you see here, they have to see that the agricultural sector is focused on raising agricultural output, good security and improving productivity. They have to see that how they can increase it. That should be linked here. That's what we are talking about. The improvement of agricultural sector or increasing of the farmers' income is doubling of the farmers' income is nothing but mechanization of farms. That's what mechanization of farms, improved quality of seed and fertilizer, better irrigation facilities, providing subsidies on various farm inputs. The strategy paid dividends as India is able to address the severe food shortage, so where we are struggling a lot, and adoption of green revolution, second green revolution, so that India becomes self-sufficient in food and production can be increased to 3.7 times as the population of country is increasing. So if you see these changes, 45% increase per food production, making India both self-sufficient in food and an aggregate level, and also it's the next exporter to the food products. Now, if you see the inventions here, just productivity, if you see here, there are some 8 or 9, 10 inventions are there. You can see here, land consolidation, education and literacy, mechanization of modern techniques, adoption of emerging technology, leveraging big data, reduction in food wastage, adoption of precision agriculture methodologies, alternative models for enhancing the investments in agri-supply chain, design of the smart infrastructure such as cold chain, logistics and irrigation, and pushing the research and development initiatives. These are the interventions where they are impact more on the productivity in any sector, whether it is agriculture, industry or a services sector. So to achieve this vision here, what we have to see is the policy makers, legislators and regulators need to revisit, reorient, redesign the existing policies and framework with the transformative interventions and unconventional approaches to tackle climate change, keeping the farmers at the core of the strategy as they are considered as agripreneurs. So here, future of the, if you see the manufacturing sector, the network shifting gears to unlock new possibilities. So in this journey, India needs to strengthen manufacturing sector, and it's difficult for India to become a major economy without becoming an industrial power. So large number of people that are expected to join as workforce in coming years, and it cannot be dependent on service sector, but also they can have an advantage of demographic dividend and unlock the massive potentials. Manufacturing sector India leads to take lead, and they can increase its share even in the national output. India is yet to leverage the opportunities to come along with the Industry 3.0, primarily because of extremely low labor cost, lack of the policy focus, lacking infrastructure, high dependency on manpower, and also archaic paper-based processes. So India here marches towards $5 trillion economy, especially in the manufacturing ecosystem. It must be created for industry participants to leverage the growing domestic demand for quality product, reduce reliance on imports and explore export opportunities to boost overall economy, and also robust future ready manufacturing, their ability to reshape the growth of paradigm with digitally connected and integrated systems earlier operating in Solis and leveraging technology so that in the form of Industry 4.0 they can help unlock immense value by connecting people, processing and machines. So the critical infrastructure, if you see here, there are few 6, 4 or 5 points are there where research and development will help India to establish a well-defined innovative strategy. Then establishing a vibrant IP regime, emphasis to IP literacy, manufacturing sector, manufacturing infrastructure, connectivity that is digital, physical, which is a critical and enabling manufacture to remain relevant and competitive. Research and development will help India to establish a well-defined innovation strategy. Then technology provision, enabling Indian manufacture to embrace emerging technologies and techniques, skilled manpower development, agility, leadership, digital literacy, consumer focus, traditional leadership are the main areas. So the government has been focusing on establishing India as a global manufacturing hub with initiatives such as Make in India, Smart Advanced Manufacturing, Rapid Transformation Hub, Samrat, Udyog Bharat 4.2, and policies such as National Policy for Advanced Manufacturing, investing in technologies and embedding efficient practices to create a future-ready manufacturing ecosystem so that which is needed and boost towards the 5 trillion dream. So the strengthening of the economic ecosystem through structural reforms is needed here. Then a minimum government and maximum governance is taken care of that. Justice delayed leads to justice denied. So they have to face these challenges. Land, labor and capital reforms, connecting the country to enabling digital infrastructure from inequality to equality to equity, and technology and governments are the main challenges that where they have to come up. So to create trillion economy, India needs a robust and resilient infrastructure, important for government to make country ready for the next generation of telecommunication infrastructure growth, development of 5G technologies by revising regulatory norms, ensuring healthy competition, logistics and warehousing. The logistics sector is a backbone of the national development and a significant contributor to the economic growth and prosperity. Smart cities, urban growth centers for addressing the challenges of urban development. Then the government vision of this 5 trillion economy needs a strong policy reform, governance framework. The new India needs to be supported by first generation governance reforms and second generation economic reforms. During 1991 financial crisis, India witnessed a slew of economic reform without being backed by governance reforms. India now needs a focus on governance reforms to prepare the next phase of its growth. Today, the government needs to assume a frontal role to bring out institutional changes, particularly complementing industry efforts to develop free and fair market institutions in restructuring and disinvesting inefficient state-owned public sector units, strengthening the banking system in establishing market-oriented legal and regulatory policy, deepening of democracy and taking care of the poor. So despite of the best efforts, there still remains a lot of government intervention and the license permitted systems in order to achieve the spirit of reduced state intervention was intended when the Indian market was opened in 1991, and India has to create a robust institution to tackle government issues. India's vision of becoming 5 trillion economy in today's economic condition poses a unique challenges to future economic growth in India and requires innovative solutions that will help rapidly to push the economy towards development. So if you see this Aaatma Nirbhar, the 5 pillars self-reliance, a picture showing about economy, infrastructure, system demography dividend, and also solutions were also given lead of the hour, showing about the 5 points. Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Now I'll ask Satyasundaram sir. Just you can give a review of these 2 sessions that are happened in the today's session. Sir, over to you. Sir, your voice is not audible. Kindly unmute your mic, sir. Sir, your session is in the afternoon, but I want you to give some review on the today's session or yesterday also. Sir, your mic is muted. Kindly unmute. Any of the participants are from VIT? Sir, join. Satyasundaram sir, sir. Just I request you to give a review of yesterday's session and today morning sessions. Sir, your mic is muted. Kindly unmute your mic.
Can I speak now?
Sir, yes, sir. Audible.
Yes. I think we have a very interesting session. So today, one dealing with agriculture. Of course, I will speak on that in the evening, in the afternoon. How important it is, what should be done, present state of agriculture sector. Rohit has done a very good job. His presentation is very good, and he has raised very important issues. And the other one, how we have to use technology and how we have to relate it to the environment. That is also very important, because even if we achieve progress, it may sometimes become pyrrhic. That means it is achieved at a high cost if it is not eco-friendly. So we have a very interesting session on how technology can be used and how sustainable development can be achieved. Whatever development we achieve, it should be on a lasting basis, that too for the benefit of the future generations. And whatever technologies that are available at present, I think we have made impressive progress in this sphere, but at the ground level, we have yet to do something. For instance, judicious combination of agricultural inputs. We have not made many rapid progress in that area, though knowledge is available, science and technology are available, so much so there is a considerable wastage. I think we have to look at this aspect and strengthen the extension system, how the SMEs and other units of smart cities and also other things, how they are able to or how they can able to take advantage of the various incentives that are being offered by the government, the banks and other institutions. That is also very important. Thank you.
Any of the participants would like to speak? We have few presentations here. They have some exam is that they will join at 12 o'clock. So we have 7 to 8 minutes time is there. Any of the participants would like to share anything, you can.
Shivamurthy sir, do you want to speak anything? You have been continuously watching. We have been watching you since yesterday. You are a very good listener. Since yesterday, we have been watching you. I heard that you are from Venkateswara. Please say something about sir. And you want to talk? Please.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, no idea, sir. I am first session it is.
But very nice, sir. We appreciate you. You are a good listener. You have been continuously on your camera and you have been listening. We appreciate your participation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
sir, I have no idea, sir. It is first session, sir.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So you are from Venkateswara University?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, any one of you want to interact with us, or see, we are going to publish a book. Madam will tell regarding that. So you can send in your papers. Madam will be briefing about those things.
As we are getting that ISBN and ISSN number, if any one of you develop and contribute articles, you can contribute, and we will be printing it in the month of June, as it's already last week of May. So we're giving some time to you to develop your article, though you are presenting are not yet prepared also. Kindly contribute your articles for the publication so that it will be published. Whenever you are writing your profile, they are asking about the publications in ISSN and ISBN and Scopus and all those things. It will be useful for you. So I'm requesting you can even share this news to your faculty of your institutions, your universities and your colleges, so that anything, if anyone they wanted to contribute, they can contribute the articles by June 10th or June 15th. If you send the articles to the same email what I gave you in the invitation, so that the book will be released by the end of the June only. So I request all of you, because many of them asked about why you selected this team. Just I thought, I'm in an impression that it is only economic aspect, and as I belong to economic fraternity, in that view only I have a idea, and I thought like that, and I arranged this one. But when I was listening to all the lectures, every session is a new experience and new learning. As we know that we are the continuous learners. The first session was to Nageshwar sir said is in a different view, in a critical view, as his analyst, he analyzed. In the second session, CSM Raju sir gave a macro perspective, and in the morning session, Rohit sir was giving a new idea that agribusiness, and also which is helpful for the self-reliant, exactly a suitable thing, how they can go with the agricultural sector. And the other one is a living example, Sanjay sir. So what can we go with these startups and innovative ideas by protecting our environment? So I didn't expect that. I thought of only GDP rate, inflation rate, economy and all those things. But the ideas are in a different way. So I thought the topic what I have taken is having different horizons and different views are there. That's why 101 participants are registered. But very sadly, only 20 are joined. Every day morning, I created WhatsApp group. I am giving the mails also that please kindly join. But they missed many things here. I think the participants will agree with me that we have new things to learn and new things to know. So when we contact people with such people in these seminars, definitely in future we can have a collaboration or we can have interaction with them, so that it will be helpful for us in our future endeavors. So the 101 participants, but now if you see, less than 20 are there. Less than 20 are there. Maybe they have some administrative works. I don't know all those things. But if any of your colleagues or friends are enrolled or registered, kindly ask them to join, because the sessions are very much important. All the resource persons really they spend a lot of time to prepare and to give some inputs to us. They wanted to share their knowledge with us. So it's our responsibility to listen to them and to spend time with them, because it is for our development only. So ICSSR is providing fund. It's not. It should not be wasted. It should be useful to everybody, to our college and to other colleges also. If at all any of your friends or colleagues or anybody registered, ask them to kindly join in this one. And just within few minutes, students will be joining. Meanwhile, just I wanted to show our college video. Kindly watch it. Thank you. You asking just now it's coming?
Laptop volume is muted the same. It's click on it.
And sacrifice of numerous people. Mari Stella, a temple of knowledge. A small flame in 1962 has grown into an ever-burning lamp that has ignited a desire for knowledge in generations of learners. Today, Mari Stella stands as a beacon of light, only due to the unflinching commitment and sacrifice of numerous people who walked before us on this hallowed ground. On the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee of this institution, we recall with gratitude the glorious past and pay rich tribute to the founders, especially the first principal, Ann Mari Devi, benefactors and well-wishers. Today, we proudly present the dance drama Vidyana Kovela Mari Stella.
Sing a new song to the Lord, for He has worked wonders. His right hand and His holy arm have brought salvation. Sing songs to the Lord with the harp, with the sound of music, with trumpets and the sound of the Lord. Early the kingdom. Glory be to the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without gender.
Dear sisters, చక్కటి సనాతన సంప్రదాయాలతో పటిష్టమైన నైతిక కట్టుబాట్లతో గొప్ప దేశంగా కీర్తించబడుతున్న మన భారతదేశం నేటికి నిరక్షరాస్యత చీకట్లలో కొట్టుమిట్టాడుతుందని మనందరికీ తెలుసు. ఈ పరిస్థితుల్లో మనం వీరికి విద్యా విజ్ఞానాన్ని అందించడం ద్వారా అసమానతలను తొలగించి సమసమాజ స్థాపన చేయాలని నా ఆలోచన. అదే మన మార్గచూపరి ప్రభువైన క్రీస్తునాథుడు మనకు అప్పగించిన బాధ్యత కూడా. దీని గురించి మీ అభిప్రాయాన్ని తెలియజేయవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
మదర్, మీరు చెప్పింది అక్షరాల వాస్తవం. అందుకేగా విద్య ద్వారా మనిషి మనోదారిద్ర్యాన్ని తొలగించి ప్రతి ఒక్కరిని విజ్ఞానధనులుగా చేయాలన్నదే కదా మన ముఖ్య సేవాధర్మం. అందున సమాజంలో అనాదరణకు గురి అవుతున్న బాలికలను విద్యావంతులను చేయదలచి ఇక్కడ మద్రాసు నగరంలో మనం స్టెల్లా మారిస్ బాలికల కళాశాలను స్థాపించింది.
అవును సిస్టర్, మద్రాసులో ఈ స్టెల్లా మారిస్ కాలేజీ ఇంత స్థితికి రావడానికి మీ అందరి పట్టుదల నిరంతర కృషే కారణం. అందుకు దేవుడు మనందరినీ నిండుగా దీవిస్తాడు. అయితే ఇప్పుడు ఒక ముఖ్యమైన విషయాన్ని మీ ముందుంచాలని ఆశిస్తున్నా. గత 3 సంవత్సరాల నుండి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లోని విజయవాడలో కొందరు పుర ప్రముఖులు అక్కడ ఒక కాలేజీ ప్రారంభించమని అభ్యర్థిస్తున్నారు. దానిని గురించి ఒక నిర్ణయం తీసుకోవాలని మిమ్మందరినీ అడుగుతున్నాను.
అక్కడ ఇప్పటికే కొంతమంది సిస్టర్ల కాన్వెంట్లు ప్రారంభమై ఈ విద్యారంగంలో పనిచేస్తున్నాయిగా. మరి ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా మనం ప్రవేశిస్తే నిలబడగలమా? ఆలోచించండి.
కళాశాల విద్యారంగంలో మనం ఇప్పటికీ కొంత అనుభవం పొందాం. ఈ అనుభవంతో తప్పక అక్కడ మంచి ఫలితాలనే సాధించవచ్చు. కానీ అక్కడ మనకు తగినంత సహాయ సహకారాలు అందుతాయో లేదో.
దానికంటే ముందు అది తెలుగు భాషా ప్రాంతం. మనలో తెలుగు భాష వచ్చిన వారు ఎవరూ లేరు. అటువంటప్పుడు అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి ఈ గురుతర బాధ్యతను నిర్వహించగలిగిన వారెవరు?
అది దేవుడు మనకిచ్చిన సుకృత బాధ్యత అని మీ అందరి ప్రార్థనా బలంతో నేను నిర్వహిస్తాను.
ప్రైజ్ ది లార్డ్. మాకు తెలుసు మీ సంకల్ప బలం. కానీ అక్కడ ఉన్న పెద్దల, మత పెద్దల ఆర్థిక సహాయం, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సహాయం కావాలి.
సేవాధనులు మానవతా మూర్తులు, సేవాధనులు మానవతా మూర్తులు కేఎల్ఎన్ ప్రసాద్, జిఎస్ రాజు, డాక్టర్ పిన్నమునేని, రఘురామయ్య, ఎందరెందరో మానవోత్తములు, ఎందరెందరో మానవోత్తములు నిండు మనసుతో తోడుగా నిలచినే, నిండు మనసుతో తోడుగా నిలచినే.
అందరికీ వందనం. విజయవాడలో బాలికల కాలేజీ ప్రారంభించమని మీరందరూ గత 4 సంవత్సరాల నుండి చేస్తున్న విన్నపాన్ని మా అధిపతులు అంగీకరించారు. సనాతన సమాజ చీకటి తెరలలో అమలయని బంధించిన మహిళ బ్రతుకును మార్చివేయగ ఉదయించే 1962లో విజయవాడ నగరాన విద్యల జ్యోతిగా విద్యార్థుల మేధో శక్తిని శోధించి ఉన్నత జ్ఞానముని అధికరిస్తూ చదువు సంఖ్యల రాణిస్తూ దళిత కళలలో దీపిస్తూ సమాజ సేవలో శ్రమిస్తూ నైతిక నిర్ణయ Rather than provision of Indian crops, it offered extreme. It is a miracle. Yes, it was indeed a miracle of generosity, dedication, and cooperation. God blessed the efforts of the missionaries. The college grew gradually and prospered. Today, the proud alumni spread across the globe are shining as stars. The rich legacy left by the students and staff of Esther years is a sure sign for us to carry forward the light of knowledge over the generations to come. Long live Mari Stella. Thank you for watching. Now I request the students from VIT Amravati to present your papers. Over to you, both of you, Tarun, and we have one more joined just now. Tarun, Krishna, and Rushwant. Tarun and Rushwant, be ready. You can start your presentations. Who is presenting first? Who is presenting first? Tarun, are you ready? Students from VIT Engineering, kindly present your papers. Over to you. I welcome Indira ma'am. Ma'am, good morning. Hello ma'am, good morning. Yesterday also you were there, but in the middle I was unable to wish you.
Morning, congratulations.
Thank you ma'am. After 2 presentations, just you speak some 10 minutes for the session and the session ma'am. 2 presentations are there for 10 minutes. After that for 10 minutes, kindly share your ideas regarding Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath ma'am.
What, Jyotsna?
Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath.
Okay.
The 2 presentations are ready. Tarun, are you ready? What happened? Your mic has some problem, Tarun. Not able to turn on the mic. Tarun is having some problem with the mic. Then we have other, it's saying meeting too begin. It's saying meeting too big to turn on the mic. You just find out Tarun, and meanwhile Rushwant is there. You present Mr. Rushwant.
Okay, ma'am.
Tarun and others, rejoin and turn on the mic, it seems. The IT members of the Maristella is advised you to rejoin and turn in. Prasad sir, IT department of Maristella College, kindly help those boys how to log in or what to do, sir. Prasad sir of IT department Maristella College, kindly help those two fellows from VIT Amaravati how to go about it. Please guide them what to do with that. They have some problem, it seems. Okay. Both of you click on again in the Google Meet, then rejoin. You will get it. Tarun, you are visible. You can unmute your mic and speak. Tarun Krishna. Your video is okay. Unmute your mic, then speak. Yeah, unmute your mic and speak. You are visible. Video is okay. Audio you unmute. Down audio symbol is there. Unmute it. Your video and audio symbols will be there. Unmute and speak.
No, he is audible. He is audible because in house as I asked him to.
Sorry, we can't hear you. You speak something, Tarun? Yes, ma'am, but audio is getting turned off automatically some problem. Okay, Prasad sir, kindly help it. He is telling that audio is getting turned off automatically. What is the solution? Prasad sir from IT department of Maristella College. Kindly give the solution. Kindly solve the problem. Yeah. I should rejoin. Tarun should rejoin. Tarun already did like that twice or thrice. He left the meeting and he rejoined the meeting. But the thing is, for a second, the audio is okay. We got some voices from backside and automatically it is turning off. That is his problem. You are using phone or laptop, Tarun? Chat box you can write. Laptop. So he is using laptop, sir. Presentation you can done from the laptop and use phone, sir. Phone, Tarun, to speak. It's better, no? From laptop you just present your paper, presentation, PPT, whatever you have. From the phone you speak. Okay? Rishwant, are you ready then?
Yes, ma'am.
Let the Tarun rectify the problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Can't hear, Jasmine.
Yashwant, you started. Your PPT is stuck here, not at open, and we didn't get any audio from you, Yashwant.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Yashwant, audible. Yes, you can proceed.
Okay.
Yes, Yashwant, you proceed. Start.
Okay. It is shared, ma'am, PPT.
No, just you are showing that the file is in your downloads only. That much only shown here. Just you double click it and open it. Otherwise, you open and keep it in your desktop, down of the desktop, then share.
No, ma'am.
Not it. It was showing that you have selected that file from your downloads. Role of manufacturing sector tours. It was simply showing selected. Just stop sharing and again you do it.
Okay.
Yes, Vishwant. Yeah. Role of manufacturing sector towards the fighter window. Yes, your PPT is visible. You can start.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, Ratnameri Madam. Namaste.
Good morning. Good morning to all members. My name is G. Rushwant, and I am going to say about the role of manufacturing sectors towards a $5 trillion Indian economy by 2024. Introduction. India is one of the fastest growing major economies and is currently ranked as the world's sixth large economy. Global competitiveness index, logistics performance index, and global innovation index are all positive and encouraging. There are several underlying strengths that are indicative of the latent potential of the economy. India is currently bestowed with a young births by 2020. The average age in India will be 29 years. India offers an expanding market with income levels and size of the middle class increasing investment in infrastructure and projected over the medium term to lead to better connectivity and reduced logistics and costs for business. 1 minute, man. 1 minute. And reduce logistics costs for business. Digital technology has led to positive disruption in both governance and business. The International Monetary Fund projects that India would reach gross domestic products US dollars 4.6 trillion in 2023. India's potential to achieve a US dollar 5 trillion GDP by 2024 to 2025 is within the realm of possibility. Government's efforts towards accelerating growth and development are ongoing, and there is a sense of dynamism and optimism in the country. In this paper, we will review a way forward toward a $5 trillion economy in context of role of manufacturing. And this is the tentative sectorial projection to achieve US $5 trillion GDP 2024-2025. These projections are made at current prices and underlying targets for average annual growth rates are based on the past trend GDP of RS or in 2024-2025 is equivalent to approximately US dollars 5 trillion at the assumed exchange rate of 72 per USD. And this is the manufacturing sector economy review and way forward. The growth prospects for India look optimistic, and India is gearing up to become a global manufacturing powerhouse as the manufacturing sector forms the backbone of the Indian economy. In addition, MNCs are now able to diversify their production capabilities to include low-cost manufacturing, thereby driving sustainable growth for the sector. And the following three-pillar strategy is suggested to achieve required expansion of the manufacturing sector output, whose broader view is shown in figure 1. Focus on existing high-impact sectors, focus on emerging sectors, and focus on MSME. Focus on emerging sectors. Initial assessments indicate that the following 8 sectors are expected to contribute in excess of US dollars 170 billion to the manufacturing GVA by 2025-2026. These sectors have exponential growth potential which needs to be explored. Detailed assessment of the potential of these sectors should be taken up and actionable roadmaps drawn up to harness the potential. Biotechnology and genomics. India is among the top 12 biotech destinations in the world and ranks third in the Asia Pacific and has the second highest number of untitled United States Food and Drug Administration approved plants. India biotech industry is expected to touch US dollars 100 billion by 2025. In robotics and automation equipment, advanced materials. Robotics and automation are gradually having a significant impact on the efficiency of entire manufacturing process and the product range made available to customers. This result is a likely shift in success factors for competitiveness. The relevance of the factors such as labor cost and economies of scale is likely to erode. The key will be to stay ahead of time, introducing relevant policy interventions. Advanced materials are at the heart of many technological developments that touch our lives. Electronic mails, materials for communication and information technology, biomaterials for better healthcare, sensors for intelligent environment, energy materials for renewable energy and environment, light alloys for better transportation, and materials for strategic applications are a few examples. Improving access to funding, development of SME credit risk databases and SME credit rating, developing a system of rating SMEs based on the financial and non-financial, which are generally difficult to assess. Based on the analysis of risk, financial ratios which will cover all the characteristics of SMEs including activity, profitability, coverage, leverage and liquidity. The SMEs can be classified into 3 groups: financially healthy SMEs, medium risk SMEs and financial risk SMEs. The development of hometown investment trust with funds for risky SMEs, creating community-based funds, or hometown investment trust funds to promote, leading to startups and riskier borrowers such as SMEs. Here, the associated risk will be borne by investors, and the trust funds would not be guaranteed by a deposit insurance corporation. Improving access to funds. Insurance scheme for MSME. MSME insurance regulation should be developed to encourage insurers to design tailor-made and innovative insurance solutions for MSME. For improving risk management of MSME, this will enable them to access cheaper financing from formal sources. Fintech innovations. This will be help in lowering the cost of financial, especially for small borrowers. Simplify the process by reducing paperwork and avoid delays in disbursement. Explore inclusion of technology and quality upgradation as a part of priority sector funding. Promoting Making India campaign to promote brand India for manufacturing. Made in India, served from India, to take cognizance of service verification of products. Similar to Incredible India for tourism, facilitating access to larger markets, domestic and international, via e-commerce. And finally, conclusion: the manufacturing sector historically has been contributing about 16% of the GDP of the country. Going ahead, this is expected to increase to about 25% by 2025 to sustain the existing pace of growth and towards the dream of 5 trillion Indian economy, with the government now providing significant incentives, tax breaks and favorable policy under the National Manufacturing Policy, and subsequently the Make in India program. The investment and initiatives for the private firms, both foreign and domestic, are expected to increase with development of NIMZ. The development of NIMZ, country-specific zones, SCZS, industrial clusters and special economic corridors for rapid transport of goods and introduction of GST. The country provides a robust development infrastructure for the manufacturing sector, and the impact of Make in India initiative is already visible in terms of FDI inflows into the country. The development of the 25 sectors selected under the Make in India program. For example, defense manufacturing has recently seen investments from both foreign and as well as domestic investors. Significant developments in other sectors such as pharmaceuticals, textile, food processing and chemicals. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rishwan. We have two more participants, Aditya and Tarun. Who is ready? Aditya, are you ready? Or Tarun, who is going to present now? Tarun, your problem solved? If Tarun has some problem, Aditya, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please carry on.
Can you hear me? Actually, I am facing a power cut, so I cannot turn on my video. So please bear with me.
Audio is okay. You can present, no? PPT.
Yeah, I'm trying to present.
PPT is there.
Yeah, I have my PPT ready.
Is it possible to show the PPT now? As you said, some not technical problem, power problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to solve it. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Now is it visible?
No.
Yeah, I will present next time, I think. Due to power, I'm facing.
Okay, then Aditya, are you ready?
Ma'am, I'm audible.
Audible, yes,
Ma'am,
audible.
ma'am, 2 minutes, ma'am. I'm presenting the PPT. I'm sharing the PPT.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it visible?
Not visible, only audible.
Wait, ma'am, I'm working on it. My screen is shared, ma'am.
No, not it.
Ma'am, can I rejoin again?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, is the screen visible now?
No, no, Aditya, no. Just you present audio. Otherwise, will you present at 4 o'clock? I think you have exam, no?
Today I'm free.
Samuel sir said that you have examinations.
Today I'm free, ma'am.
Then is it possible? Yeah, you are now. We are able to see you.
Is my screen available, ma'am?
No, no. That's what. Aditya, you present. Those screen is not available. You present. Yeah, now okay, Aditya. Yes,
Yes,
Aditya.
ma'am. I'm audible.
Yes, you can proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Visible and audible.
Okay, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, most of the research paper topic is covering on how how supply and demand affects the 5 trillion economy, ma'am. The starting of the paper is about author and myself and Sir Samuel Johnson, sir. And the continuation of the next page is about the abstract, how 5 trillion economy is used, how demand and resources affect the 5 trillion economy, and how Indian economy is affected by COVID-19 and rest of the facts, ma'am. And after that, we dive into the topic, and keywords are 5 trillion economy, law of supply and demand, equilibrium cost, and GDP. These are the terms that are most used on my paper, ma'am. Followed by that, we have 5 trillion demand of full supply and introduction to the 5 trillion economy, how it is being affected by the COVID-19, and how it is connected to the law of supply and demand, and how does it affects and what are the changes it need to reach 5 trillion economy by year of 2028 to 2097 due to COVID-19. And here is the graph of the past 10 years collection, which is collected by Government of Finance by Indian government data. And followed by that, we have the two laws which govern the cost of a product, law of supply and demand. And after law of supply demand, I have pasted a real-time example of law of supply and demand, followed by a relationship graph of law of supply and demand. And after law of supply and demand, I have stated real-time examples and a equilibrium graph to show the presentation of law of supply and demand. And after that, I have showed how law of supply and demand moves and changes, and how does it affects the 5 trillion economy. And at the end, after this, I made few suggestions of how production sector affects law of supply and demand, and how GDP shares are over the past 10 years in the law of supply and demand. And at the end of the paper, I have added strategies for how government has taken issues to ensure 5 trillion economy is achieved by the deadline. And I have also added few suggestions to make law of supply and demand, how law of supply and demand affects the overall GDP, and how are some few countermeasures to increase the supply and demand, and few suggestions also have been added. And at the end of the paper, I have added the conclusion for the overall 5 trillion economy, and have mentioned each growth rate, how each how each sector should grow in order to achieve 5 trillion economy. As we can see, for the industrial sector, it should be 8.7% of growth rate, and for service sector, it should be 8.7% of growth rate, and for agriculture sector, it should be 6.6% of the growth rate every year. And the GDP is how GDP is affected by each sector, and all are drawn in the charts previously given below. And at the end of the paper, I have added some references. To get more detail on the demand and how the growth patterns are affecting each year, and how that is affects overall 5 trillion economy. Ma'am,
Are you finished?
yes, ma'am. I just gave the briefing of the full paper, ma'am. I think it will take so much time for describing the whole paper.
Okay, thank you, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am.
Tarun, you will get time in the afternoon. As you said, you have a problem. Kindly rectify your problem by 4
Problem is rectified, ma'am. I can present.
Yeah, present.
Okay. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, Tarun. Yes, reachable and audible. Proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tarun Krishna, studying third year BTech from VTP University. My paper focuses on how agriculture sector will contribute $1 trillion economy towards Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath by 2024 to 2025. This is the abstract from my paper. As you know, Indian agriculture sector has undergone many changes since the independence. The overall growth of the country depends upon agriculture development, and it has been the main occupation since the independence. Like 50% of the national income is coming from agriculture sector, and 72% of people are actively working in that sector. Even though the contribution of agriculture has been decreasing recently, after the impact of the COVID-19, agriculture sector saw growth in both economy and agriculture production, even though the whole GDP of the country has been decreased. The paper focuses on Indian Council of Agriculture Research, how it is focusing on reaching the goal of $1 trillion economy. The graph here says about India's GDP share of agriculture from the years 2013 to 20. Now, a brief about Indian agriculture research system. The Indian Council of Agriculture Research (ICAR) is an organization under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Department of Agriculture Research and Education. It was formed on July 16, 1929. The Institute of Agriculture Research is in charge of planning, coordinating, promoting agriculture research, technology development, and providing agriculture education in the country. The challenges faced by ICAR in improving productivity. Today's challenge is to supply food that is both safe and nutritious to the people. Growing population, changing lifestyles, increased urbanization, and enhanced climate variability are all posing new challenges to the national agriculture research system. In India, the key issues affecting agriculture productivity are like shrinking agricultural land holdings, continued reliance on the monsoons, inadequate irrigation, imbalance use of soil nutrients and soil fertility, uneven access to modern technology in different parts of the country, lack of formal agriculture credit, limited government procurement of food grains, and failure to provide remuneration. For improving crop production, ICAR was instrumental in developing the technology that improved productivity and improved natural resource management. Under normal and stressful circumstances, genetic enhancement is the visible approach for bridging the demand between supply and imbalance. Crop genetic modification, soil productivity improvement, weed and insect control have benefited for this research. ICAR has almost released 6,000 types of cereals, oil seeds, pulses, and other crops in this direction. To increase farmer productivity and financial security, ICAR has focused on creating sound agriculture practices like precision farming, regional croplands, climate resilient and water saving technology, disease resistance, drought tolerance, submerged tolerance. All these have been applied for high yielding crops that are resistant to environmental fluctuations. During the period 2015 to 21, about 1,020 climate resilient cultivars were produced to tolerate various biotic and abiotic challenges in various climate and soil types. ICSSR has improved quality seed production and developed a system to meet the needs of the farmers. All this led to the increment of crop production in the recent years. Improvement in animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is an important aspect of the agriculture system, and animal genetic resources have been since a source of pride for us. ICSSR conducts basic and strategic research in animal genetics and breeding, nutrition, psychology, and reproduction, along with animal health and animal products. Germplasm conservation and improvement, livestock nutrition, preventive healthcare, vaccine production, and addressing emergent diseases, milk and meat product development are some of the concentrated research areas in animal science. This research helped to increase livestock population in the recent years. As you can see from the graph, livestock census in 2012 versus the livestock census in 2019. As you can see, there is significant increase around these states. Improvement in fisheries and aquaculture. Since the Blue Revolution, ICSSR played a significant role in making India the world's second largest fish producer. Breeding and seed production technology for numerous food and decorative fishes have been developed to diversify commercial fish output. Through careful selective breeding in local fish and high-value fish species are being formed in marine cages, and technical assistance has been provided to erect cages around the Indian coast. The role of ICSSR in agriculture mechanization and digitization. Farm tools and equipment were created to improve farm mechanization in the country, saving time and labor, lowering production costs, and increasing crop productivity and farm income. Precision agriculture machinery has been designed for irrigated, rain-fed, hill architecture, horticulture, livestock, and fisheries production. ICSSR has developed around 210 technologies, farm machine prototypes, and they worked hard to promote the use of digital platforms in agriculture. More than 180 smartphone apps on various parts of farm and farm services have been developed and have been linked to common service centers in order to supply farmers with demand-driven information and services. In the role of education and innovation, ICSSR is promoting agriculture education by constructing new central agriculture colleges. Accreditation of SAUs is being done to improve education quality and standards. The National Higher Agriculture Education Product is being developed to give cutting-edge technology and develop science training to students and academic members. In order to reduce the period between technology generation and adoption, ICSSR has also been working on establishment of efficient and effective technology transfer methods to improve farm production. My conclusion from my research paper is, considering all these factors, we can definitely say that agriculture sector is going to be a superpower for Indian economy, and it can achieve its goal for contributing $1 trillion economy by 2024 to 2025 and towards Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath. These are the references I used for my paper and my presentation. Thank you, Professor Samuel Johnson, for providing me with this opportunity, and thank you, Mary Stella College, for giving me this chance to present my PPT here.
Thank you, Tarun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. I request Indira Kumari ma'am, just to take 10 minutes time and express your views, ma'am.
Hi everyone.
Good morning, ma'am. Please carry on.
Yeah.
Indira madam, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I must congratulate Josephine and Swaroop and other Maristella team in putting up this idea that Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, mainly focusing about the overall development in the country. And you have taken a very new and rare concept. and it is more viable now. What is needed for the today's economy is Atma Nirbhar. That itself, we need some Nibbaram in to solve our problems. So you have you have taken the right point in the right situation. The COVID situation and downfalling trend in the economic development, and with so many problems. So for this, we need you have taken the right decision in accepting this concept and put forward before the budding economists and also the various channels to find the solution for this. So now let us go into the topic. What we exactly needed for to come out of this problem of economic development, what we are facing today, the slowing down the economic development rate, and also with numerous problems. So as the paper presenters are suggesting so many things, when we look at our economy as a whole, we have now the middle class population, the population ranging from 15 years to 60 years is that is the greatest asset of our country, having 60%, nearly 60% of the population belong to that group. So this is the productive age. The rest of 0 to 15 and above 60, though they are dependents, their proportion is very less. So it is, as you know, previously we have so many inequalities. 80% of the population are depending on the 20% of the earning persons. Now, the little bit reverse is the case. So we need to feed only 40% of the population. That means 60% of the population need to feed by themselves 60% along with 40%. So based on that, we need to formulate the policies. So for this, we need some Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath, definitely. So the Bharat, as a part of Make in India program, need to attend this task by developing our agricultural sector, manufacturing sector, service sector, and by using new technology and the worldwide by facing the worldwide challenges also, and though we are taking so much of the though we are making efforts, the country as a whole is facing so many challenges. Not only worldwide problem like corona, but even in the assistance received by the developed nations towards India is narrowed down slowly in the past few decades. So for that, we need to develop by ourselves. We need to develop by ourselves by having suitable economic policy. That is what we need exactly is we need both financial strength and also viable human development. These are the two strengths what we need today. How to attain financial strength? That is financial strength, as I said, agricultural development with new technology, and also the various new inventions, by using new inventions, and also the large scale, the various types of farming, like large scale farming, because small scale farming is not working out because of the dependence on the monsoons and all. Adopting new technology with the suitable agricultural policies regarding the suitable pricing and also marketing, more storage facilities and food processing units, and also development of the commercial crops, and along with poultry farming, horticulture, sericulture, animal husbandry. Actually, in one word, our blue revolution concept through Make in India, that itself is the right idea, but we need to implement that in a strict way, so that the results are positive to feed the existing population, dependent population, and also the hardcore population of the country. So in the same way, the industrial sector, manufacturing sector, and also pharma sector, what we are facing today, the health and the education, health policy of the health, human health is more important. It is to be dealt in a multiple manner, not like a single, just only pharmaceutical development, and also the that itself is not enough. What we need for the manufacturing sector are from the side of the pharmaceutical companies, necessary marketing and preparation of the good medicines and distributing them in a proper way. And these things should reach to the people who are dependents, the marketing, etc. To meet the epidemics, it should be distributed properly. So that is the way, not only development, but that development should reach to the needy. That should be the concept of the economy today in realizing the Aaatma Nirbhar. Because sometimes we have resources, we have money, but always it cannot be reached to the correct sources. Wherever it is needed, we may not be able to put in. In the same way, infrastructure facilities. Without these infrastructure facilities and the service sector development, though we develop agriculture and the manufacturing sector, it will not meet the needs, human needs, and also the overall development is not possible. So to have the overall development, service sector development is more important. So again, in this also, as we are seeing now today, we are always aspiring for the other air transport and the naval transport, etc., ignoring the transport to the remote villages and also to the rural infrastructure. So here, what we need for the country is rural infrastructure development is more important rather than the airways development and also the waterways development. Because unless this is solved, this rural infrastructure development is solved, we cannot do justice to the agricultural development and also the middle class development and also the various manufacturing industries and also the other things. So we have to keep all these points in our view to reach our goal by having a $5 trillion economy. First thing, we should not always speak in terms of dollars. We have to highlight our own currency, our own economy. Once we are talking about the dollars, we are ignoring our economy, our rupee itself. So with domestic development and our rupee restoration of our rupee value, that is more important. That means again we are not having proper trade policies. Always our focus is on dollars, not on the rupee, devaluation of the rupee, what is going on now, and also the foreign trade, what is needed for the country. We are all the time importing. Instead, we should become self-sufficient, what I feel. That means self-sufficiency should be our goal to reach our $5 trillion economy. Not in the terms of dollars, but in the terms of the rupees. I want to have it. Because better to change our concept of dollars from the rupees. Should not to focus more on the dollars. We better instead of saying $5 trillion million dollars, better we put it in that convert it in terms of the rupees and put our concept as such, so that the foreign trade development would become more viable to the country. So then, keeping all these things in view, our Make in India concept and also Aaatma Nirbhar Bharath should focus mainly on the present problems, what the country is facing today, and how the development should be done with the available resources and in the existing conditions. So the overall existing conditions, as I am saying, is middle class, the 60-50 using the manpower, of the age group from the 15 to 60. That means involving the youth and encouraging the more industries like say what industries we can say is food processing and also the commercial crops development and a more like a suitable industrial policy is to be formulated by the government, both central government and also the state should help for the implementation of the industrial policy designed by the central government. So in that way, we can reach our goal, I think. So this gesture, actually this is like a big gesture in attempting this task of realizing our responsibilities in reaching the $5 trillion economy. Of course, we can think about dollars, and not that we should not say about dollars, but what we have to use the dollar concept only for the development of our economy. Once you say what dollar means, we are focusing mainly on the developed nations. So that's in that way I am discouraging the dollar concept. So that is to highlight what we need is to highlight our economy with rupees by avoiding rupee devaluation. That is what I mean. So in that way, we need to design our policies and we need to train our students to have the self-employment programs, not looking for the employment, and we should be able to generate some employment by having the self-employment projects, middle and manufacturing industries and other agricultural subsidiary programs, etc. and etc. So this is what I feel regarding this concept, Josephine, and the others also. So once again I congratulate our management and staff and students of Stella and also the paper presenters and the participants.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing views and thank you for giving opportunity even also to us to learn and get information and ideas from you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. And the session, we will close the session now, and the next session will start at 1:45. We will have another session. Professor I. Satyasundaram sir will be speaking from 2 o'clock onwards, and after that we have Professor A. Chandramohan Garu from Tamil Nadu at 3 o'clock. So I request all the participants be in online meeting by 1:45 so that we can start our program exactly at 1:50. Thank you all and join in the meeting at 1:45. Thank you.